you're about to hear on this show are strictly those of the panel.
Today's digital landscape with the spread of false information can lead to dangerous outcomes. It's crucial for everyone to think critically and verify sources and reflect on the impact of what they share. Let's promote responsible communication to ensure that truth prevails and actions remain rooted in reality.
The following program is rated TV MA-LSV. It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Friday Night Shit Show again.
What?
How are you guys doing tonight?
Full of shit. It's a shit show. Extreme.
Yeah, we've had a lot of shit happen this week.
This is a rough week.
More than enough shit. Way more than we deserve. And way more than Charlie.
We carry on Friday with heavy hearts, but we continue. We march on.
To the best of our abilities. But before we get started, I found a video that I want to play, and I'm going to share the link for her when I get to it on the thing, and I'll put it in the chat because I really think it's a good idea, and she seems like she's very passionate about it. So I'm going to share this real quick. I want everybody to watch it and think about it. And see if you think it's a good idea for us to do this, because many times on this show I've spoke about the Smith-Mundt Modernization Act or whatever that the Biden administration pushed and was made it so that the media can basically lie and use propaganda without saying that's what it is and get away with it. And there's nothing we can do about it. So that's why I wanted to play this. So here we go.
Alrighty, this message is for President Trump and his administration. If you stay to watch the video, please tag him down below, share, and repost so we can try to get this to him as quickly as possible and hope that he can do something with this. President Trump, as a supporter who voted for you 3 times, I am hoping and praying that you will revisit what Barack Obama and Joe Biden got rid of back in 2013, which is the Smith-Mundt Act, which held news corporations accountable for lying to the American people and spreading propaganda instead of truth. I think instead of bringing it back as a Smith-Mundt Act, you name it the Charlie Kirk Act, you make it a law, and you make it damn near impossible for these people to continue to lie to the American public, which has brought chaos, hatred, division, and anarchy all across this country. Fines out the ass, which will damn near bankrupt their companies should they lie to the American people ever again. They can have their opinions, that's fine. They need to state that it is their opinion and that it is not a fact. Because of their constant lies, a man lost his life over it. Because of the constant hateful rhetoric of calling him a fascist and a Nazi and a white supremacist and a bigot, the same thing that they've called you, this man is dead. I think this would be a great legacy for him to have a law named after him to force journalists to finally start telling the truth and having the integrity that they have lacked for over a decade. I hope that this gets to you. I hope that you think about it and that you pass it into law. Because we are on a dangerous path right now with the constant lies and the propaganda, and that doesn't end just at news journalists. It needs to go to content creators who consistently spread lies and propaganda and half-truths across the internet. This needs to end, and people need to start being held accountable for baseless claims over absolute abysmal things. It needs to end. So please, if you have it in your heart to have the time to do this, get this in front of Congress, get this passed as a law, and start holding these news corporations, be they right, left, or center, accountable for their behavior. Thank you.
I shared the link for that TikTok, and I think it's important that we share it, and hopefully Trump will see it, or someone in his, upper echelon, and hopefully think about it, because I really think it's a good idea. We've needed to have that, rescinded for a while. But we have, as I've said, I'm griping about it, is our Congress has just been a limp noodle. They haven't done shit. At least as fast as Trump has been out there day and night working like 20 hours a day, it seems like, and they haven't even passed all of his federal judges yet. I mean, there's a few that seem like they're doing things here and there, and I know they're looking into the auto pen, and they've got people looking into the UFOs, and they got all these different things going on, and it looks like his cabinet has been doing gangbusters at trying to get things done and get people deported and people arrested and child traffickers and all these different things that are happening. It's just our Congress, it just seems like they don't give a shit. They all ran on Trump's coattails, and then they're just letting Trump drag. They're just dragging him along, not doing shit. And I just can't stand that about him. But I wanted to say hi to everybody real quickly in the chat. Saying hello. I went over to my Janice University. That is the email if you want to send anything to the show or something you think you want to talk about. So please, yeah. Thank you, Six Nations. I sent you a link earlier. So if you decide you want to
Nation says that his Wi-Fi is still janky.
Oh, okay. Well, I just wanted him to know that it's open. And then you got Lloyd Christmas in the chat. Hello. So yeah, we got a lot of shit that's happened this last week. A lot of hate, a lot of people being murdered. Did anybody hear about the shooting at the Naval Academy? Did anybody see anything about that?
No.
It's been quiet.
Yeah, I saw that. I thought it said that 4 people had been shot or something like that. So, here, Mike is saying hi, rooftop.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, and that is
Everyone.
that is the link for the young lady that just said spilled her piece, basically, for everyone. Now, hi, Hardwicky. Thank you for stopping in. Appreciate it. But I just really think, it was a false report. A swatting a naval base is what.
Wow.
Wow, I didn't realize that. I just saw it and I haven't heard anything else about it, but I've been so busy and so much other shit has been happening. So I wouldn't know if it was
we're cleaning off the blades of the chipper shredder, and we're just getting everything ready, making sure the ammunition's in good shape and just waiting for the foe to happen from the thaw.
Well, the first thing I wanted to share, I'm going to make sure I try to share the right thing because everything is not in order.
Jared's tree service, Bruce's tree service, Ruben's tree service, and Rooftop's tree service opening soon.
But I
saw adding helicopter tours as well.
I want to share the link to this for everyone.
Yeah, they need that.
For this prayer vigil in Washington, D.C. They said they're going to announce soon where the location is going to be for sure, but it's on Sunday the 14th at 6 p.m. So I'm going to share the link in the chat real quick for everyone.
What's really funny about all this?
What?
I mean, not like funny, but like just a little ironic.
What?
You had the young lady that was murdered last week or 2 weeks ago, and that hit finally the mainstream media was forced to look at it because North Carolina's public, I guess you'd say that the public servants finally were made aware that, hey, your system's a little broken there in the light rail. And then, of course, on the 10th, but I haven't seen any cities like Kenosha doesn't have a single bonfire going on at a Wendy's right now. There's not a single city block engulfed in flames. Mm-hmm. This is so weird. It's like the people that would be affected by this most don't require public executions and destructions immediately, at least, for things like this to happen. There's not like Drew and like 7,000 people out marching around DC right now. There's just like a bunch of discussions and a bunch of vigils, a bunch of prayer going on. It's almost kind of weird. Like all of this is like not exactly, this is not normal. The news media is frustrated because There's not a single city that burst into flames, and Pritzker's out there running his mouth. It's amazing. He's blaming all of this stuff that happened between the murder of the young blonde pretty girl from Ukraine to Charlie Kirk's tragic assassination. He's blaming this all on January 6th and Donald Trump. J.D. Pritzker, future presidential nominee, by the way, from Illinois, related to the Hilton family, by the way.
Yeah.
Don't be staying to Hilton for your fucking hotel money, for your hotel stays, okay? Because you don't.
Oh, he's not gonna get. He's not gonna do it. Pritzker's a fucking pig, fucking pig piece of shit.
He's gonna
Hey,
try.
Pritzker, fuck off, faggot.
He's gonna try because he doesn't want nice hair Newsom to get in. He's, he sees himself as like the ringmaster, the ringleader of all this, and you got to listen to him because he's shown how Illinois could be can have a banner of success with all the things going on in Chicago all at once.
It's like a Pritzker's Chicago versus Governor Hairgel's Oakland and L.A. Good.
We're gonna have a minority murder off.
Well,
Exactly.
it just shows that we're civilized and we think, and because we work and have jobs, we care about trashing other people's property that they've worked hard to take care of, right? That's the difference compared to people who are handed everything. They live off the government or they live in their parents' basement. They don't have any responsibility, so they don't give a shit about other people's property, or they're paid to go there and trash other people's stuff. You see what I mean? That's the difference. But I wanted to play this because this was very moving. I really was touched by it. It came across my timeline and was this young woman asked her, I don't know what device she used, AI, to tell her what Charlie would have to say about what happened to him. So I wanted to play this for everybody. So I hope you guys are ready because it's very moving. Here we go.
First, I want you to know I'm fine, not because my body is fine, but because my soul is secure in Christ. Death is not the end. It's a promotion. Don't waste 1 second mourning me. I knew the risks of standing up in this cultural moment, and I'd do it all over again. Second, do not let this violence divide us further. The enemy wants chaos, fear, and retaliation. Don't give it to them. Instead, double down on truth. Double down on courage. Double down on your faith and on your families. That is how you honor me. Third, remember this. America is worth it. Free speech is worth it. Fighting for the unborn, for families, for sanity in a culture gone mad, it is all worth it. So dry your tears, pick up your cross, and get back in the fight. Do it with joy. Do it with strength. And never, ever let evil think it won. First, I want you
to me, that's pretty accurate of what I think that he might say. After listening to him, I haven't watched him, every day. I don't watch every one of his shows, but I've watched many, many, many of his debates and him and doing the stuff when he would go before the RNC and do some of his speeches and stuff. And I thought that was pretty moving. Is really because those are the things that he always talked about because he was a Christian, and family values, faith in God, saving unborn babies. All those things meant something to him, and he wasn't ashamed. He wasn't ashamed to talk about it, and that's one of the reasons why I think this was so hard for our country, that somebody thought him as a threat because he spoke the truth, his truth, basically. And
I have a theory.
Well, what's your theory on it?
The truth, Janet, because I covered my truth, your truth on a previous episode. A lot of the postmodern mentality is everything's relative and fluid and all those things, but there is objective truth. And but go ahead, Janet, go ahead.
No, I was going to let Bruce go. He said he had something he wanted to say about it.
I have a theory as to why all this happened to Charlie, just kind of so suddenly.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie is at the age of 31 years old, and he's He's got a
I knew
lot
we were
of
going.
he's
I
got a
think.
lot of movement behind him. He had a lot of people that were never political before 2016 when he was in a garage with no money, and he's turning his turning point into something, into an actual movement, starting to get T-shirts out. And then he's 31, married, beautiful wife, perfect match of a wife, has two gorgeous kids, and probably going to make a lot more. And for Republicans in the fucking smoky rooms, when they're making the slates, they're looking at him going, well, if we can't get this guy Vance to go for this, Kirk is going to be 35 when 28 rolls around, and we could probably get Charlie Kirk to at least throw his hat in the ring, be a presidential nominee. He'll be among like 13 or 15 guys, just like Trump was, but he ain't going to have the gravitas. But we could at least throw him out there, and here's a hot-looking guy. He'll warm up all the loins of all the women, of all the cougars in the Republican Party. He'll get everybody churning out, and he'll grab the Zoomer vote. Maybe not the Gen X vote, because the Gen Xers are kind of a hard bunch, but the Zoomers, they love him because he keeps talking, and he says, "I'll give you a chance to speak because I got to know why the fuck are you retarded." But he doesn't say retarded. He says, "I just want to know why you're so interesting." And he gave people the way to where they could at least validate why they thought a certain way. Is it really a thought from them, or are they just programmed? And he would go on these college campi, and he'd talk to people. He might have like 3 to 5 retards per session, but the other 90% of the people talking to him, they came out shook. They had a new perspective, and we could use that. We can use that to turn those into new RNC voters and donors. Who wouldn't want that now? And that, my friend, is exactly why I feel this happened to him now. He upset the entire apple cart.
And he's seen as
everything. He would have made the Christian supremacist position.
When he first came on the scene, he didn't go to college. He graduated from high school, and he was the like a helper for Trump Jr.
Mm-hmm. He was the backup for Trump Jr.
Yeah, he did a lot of things like that, and that's one reason why I think that Donald Trump and his family really liked him, because they saw his potential and where he was heading, what he wanted to do with his life at such a young age. Because so many young people, they just flounder around, for a few years through their college years or whatever else. And there's a few videos that I'm going to play here in a little bit with different perspectives of different people who wanted to have something to say about him and what they thought about him tonight. That's one of the things that I wanted to.
I think because of Charlie's pro-Christian stance, he wasn't so much conservative, but conservative fit the bill best for his belief system.
Well, yeah.
So I believe
he believes in family. Your children, your family, your wife, being faithful to your spouse, having lots of children to reprocreate the planet, things like that.
For those of you out there that are childless, there are a lot of hot women on Twitter asking for men to start making babies and families right now.
Well, some of them, but be careful. Don't be don't fall for a bunch.
I'm not going to mention that my cousins and my sons are both divorce lawyers.
Sorry. But this next video I wanted to share, I'm going to kind of a little bit about, sorry, I got a dry spot in my throat.
I got to say that his entire perspective upset the apple cart. Mm-hmm. And he would use that as a sounding board to where you would kind of have to almost submit to the fact that in order to exist in the same timeline as Charlie Kirk, you would have to at least say you have valid points. And that put a target on his head.
Yeah. Well,
and he was getting results too.
He was effective. when you're nuts, when you're crazy, when you're not all there, whether it's because you're taking meds or because you're on different hormones that don't belong in your body, or maybe you had a bad childhood, you were beaten. I mean, I don't know. You can have a lot of things, or you're on drugs or alcohol. And you're being fed propaganda from your friends telling you that this person is ruining our lives, blah, 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 whatever the reason is. And hopefully we'll find out why. But when you have people like that out there and they feel like they have no other course except for taking out their problem. And when they're that way, you don't know who they're going to take out. It could be anyone. It could be some little old lady who dropped her bowling ball or something on somebody's foot, and now all he wants to do is get even and get rid of her. You see what I mean? So we don't really know anything yet until we find out. Once they talk to him and stuff, why, what happened or whatever. But go ahead, Rooftop. I was talking while you were talking, so go ahead. I'll let you go.
No. Yeah, I was just hoping you could put that image up after this video, but let's watch the.
Yeah, I will. After this video, I will bring up your image. But this is the whole thing talking about when they actually came on the news and talked about actually catching the shooter. So I'm going to play that real quick. Here we go.
The manhunt is over. Authorities in Utah announced an arrest today in the deadly shooting of that high-profile conservative political activist Charlie Kirk. A 22-year-old suspect was identified and taken into custody overnight. Investigators say his father recognized him from surveillance images released by the FBI. It is Friday afternoon. I'm Brian Taft.
And I'm Sarah Bloomquist. The big story on Action News is the latest on the arrest in connection to political violence here in America. Tyler Robinson is being held without bail in Utah. Investigators are now digging into his background and carefully combing through the evidence.
That evidence includes messages engraved on bullets found with the alleged weapon. ABC's Jacqueline Lee has the latest now.
Today, we're learning new details about the suspected shooter of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The governor of Utah naming the suspect as 22-year-old Tyler Robinson, saying he was taken into custody after his father recognized these photos authorities released of a person of interest.
On the evening of September 11th, a family member of Tyler Robinson reached out to a family friend who contacted the Washington County Sheriff's Office with information that Robinson had confessed to them or implied that he had committed the incident.
Robinson has been booked into the Utah County Jail, held on suspicion of felony discharge of a firearm, aggravated murder, and obstruction of justice, according to probable cause documents. ABC's Matt Gutman speaking one-on-one today with Utah's Department of Public Safety Commissioner.
The investigation's active and open. We will look at everything. We have no reason to believe he did not act alone, but in an investigation like this, we don't take anything for granted either.
31-year-old Kirk was hosting an event on Utah Valley University's campus Wednesday when a single shot was fired, killing him. Police say they found a rifle and cartridges in the woods nearby. Investigators interviewed Robinson's roommate, who shared with them messages he said Robinson sent to him on social media.
The content of these messages included messages affiliated with the contact Tyler, stating a need to retrieve a rifle from a drop point.
The messages also referred to engraving bullets. Police say several of the cartridges found had writing on them. Officials say Robinson lived with his family in St. George, about a 4-hour drive from Orem. A neighbor who says she knows the family well says she never thought this is something he could do.
He was a very quiet, very well-raised young man. And they were playful little boys. They had 3 brothers, and that's not how his mom and dad would have raised him.
The Utah County Attorney's Office is reviewing the evidence and plans to file formal charges next week. In Orem, Utah, Jacqueline Lee, Channel 6 Action News.
So have you guys heard all that information before tonight? Okay. Well, I didn't know for sure if everybody on the panel had already seen the news.
While we were doing the prep in the green room, Erica Kirk had a really powerful speech. It's about 16 minutes. If you want to, at some point, turn this into a 7-hour broadcast, we could have that as part of it.
If you want to bring it, pull it up, I'll pull it up for you. But first, I'm going to pull up
You have to see that.
What Rooftop asked me to do for him. So just give me a minute.
Yeah, thanks, because I can't stay too long, but You know, I do a podcast about woke words, 101 woke words, available on Apple Podcasts, on iHeartRadio, and on Podbean, our host. And I was thinking about doing this in 2021. Didn't really work out as a monologue, but found a co-host to rip on 4 woke words every week. We spend 2 to 3 minutes. It's not a deep dive, but present, introduce, mock mercilessly, and bury, because you can see their control of our language, the hijacking of words, the manipulation of definitions, the usage and the framing and the scare tactics. And um, you see what happens when they call us Nazis. When they first started this thing, people would be like, well, you don't have to take them seriously. It's just words. It's not going to lead. But then you see what it leads to. If someone's declaring the whole of a person and attach a radioactive label to you, or for example, the Nazi word, well, it makes sense if someone in their mind thinks of someone else as a conservative, as a Nazi, this
Mhm.
espousing beliefs that are not aligned with their own, that they would do everything they could to stop the Nazis, right? Isn't that what happened in World War II? And so it doesn't. I thought this image was very good, because sometimes a picture is worth 1,000 words, and even though there are words on this picture, it kind of shows the progression of how propaganda and brainwashing works and how it could lead to action. I don't think all the Manson family were just initially murderous, but just give it time, repeat phrases, and a lot of times they start to, the opposite of critical thinking is this repetitive chanting and self hypnosis. And when people start chanting certain words like no Trump, no KKK, no fascist USA, or calling people Nazis, which I was called just holding a American flag in front of a Tesla dealership back when they were burning Tesla dealerships. We showed up at ours. They had a bunch of busted protesters calling people Nazis hundreds of times. These people had never met me before, wearing
Mhm.
sunglasses, a trucker hat, a bless your heart t-shirt, and flying an American flag. And when we are called, regular people are being called Nazis, this is what happens. They start escalating, and the more deranged they become. It doesn't take all of them to commit violence, but they have to know that there's, at least in every population, there's a few unhinged individuals that are, I mean, they're all unhinged, but there's some that are, that have a propensity for violence, that can act alone, like this murderer of Charlie Kirk. And when people say, how did we get here? Well, it's very systematic, and you can see it. And that's why the pushback that Jason and I are doing on 101 woke words is just, and other people have been doing this too. I've seen news reports, articles, and they're finally agreeing that the language is the problem. And it's akin to propaganda, and they're, nothing new is under the sun. This has been done before, but shining a light on dishonest usage of language and words um, is, is important. So I hope everyone joins along with that. I know we try to do it as a comedy thing, try to make it funny, but the
Mhm.
roasting and the mocking has a purpose, because they really, 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 really weaponize this kind of propaganda to hopefully shake out, one or two scumbags that will take pot shots at President Trump. Several. Who knows how many they foiled last year? People that didn't go along with it. And while the attack on Charlie Kirk is shocking and horrifying and infuriating, we can't say it's surprising when we've seen how they've allowed to take over the language. So let's just push back against the language and, start mocking those woke words along with us. Whether you listen to the podcast or not, I mean, I thank all our supporters for downloading and deleting just to help me and Jason. But like, yeah, thanks for letting me talk about this, Janet.
You're welcome.
Sorry.
But you're truthful. We got to remember, if you just go back and listen, you have Maxine Waters, you have Nancy Pelosi, you got all these people on video saying that you shouldn't let them go to the restaurant and have dinner without harassing them. If you see them getting gas or shopping with their families, harass them. All this stuff is all getting people riled up to think that that's their place, to get in someone else's face, even when they're in public doing something with their family, that they can just go up to them and yell at them and cuss at them and, do whatever they want, instead of saying, well, when they're not at work, that they're off limits, like, it's like saying you can just go to their house and harass their kids,
Yep.
harass their kids while they're getting ready to get on the bus, stuff like that. That is not a normal. A normal person doesn't do things like that. But these people are doing that. Okay. And some of the things that I'm going to show later tonight are showing how we're starting to step up to the plate and try to make it a level or more level playing field, but without violence, because you can do it if you use your brain. You can come up with lots of things that you can do to get your point across without violence. Charlie did it all the time, right? Everything he did, all the shows that he did.
Charlie led by example,
Mhm.
and if we go back and look at his example, those are things to aspire to. And I want to comment on Bruce's point. There's many people that thought he was very, when he's 35 years, you can be very presidential when you have built a movement like that. He was a threat to the woke insanity, and he was effective. Like, if he was just a threat without actually getting results and being effective in influencing that many people to people that with common sense, with actual ability to think and to discern the difference between delusion and reality, I think Charlie Kirk was very brave. What a great example to live by or to look up to, right? If people have all these horrible idols, people like LeBron James waxing poetic about the CCP, and then you have someone like Charlie Kirk, of course it's shockingly refreshing. But I'm glad
One
that
thing
Turning
I've
Point
said,
was big enough to have a lot of people follow it. Go ahead,
one
Jen.
thing I've said on this show many times is that what's heartbreaking to me is you have young people that are wearing Che Guevara shirts and they're black. Okay, a young black person run around wearing a Che Guevara shirt, not realizing the real Che Guevara hated blacks. Okay. Lots of things like that. And they make it pop art, and it's not them, it's the left pushing that onto them. And they think it's cool to have one, you see, or wear a shirt with Charles Manson on it.
Or
What
they
is
have
that
the posters.
representing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
where's their posters of Stalin and Pol Pot and Mao Zedong? Not photogenic enough. They like Che's youthful face, but like a lot of these Antifa losers, and I'm just going to call them lazy leftist losers. They
Mhm.
they feel like they want a cause. They've been sold a lie by a lot of these Marxists in academia and media. And they think that it is cool to join up in these Antifa demonstrations. And when I've seen some of the ads they put up on signposts and in out in public, it says, bring a can of soup for your family and bring a frozen water, because it's hot outside. These are coded languages to bring projectiles because they believe in violence. They believe in throwing things and bonking people on the
Bring
head
a
and
milkshake.
Yeah,
yeah,
I want to
all
add
those
something
things,
real
all
quick.
those the violence is part of their thing. And when I said when I posted on X,
Mhm.
The Democrat Party is guilty of growing, supporting, and executing terrorism. I meant what I said. I'm not calling for all of us to, and like Bruce said, you don't see the Kenosha and Simi Valley burning and the auto parts. We don't resort to arson. We still do our best to get our message across with these things. But there comes a time if they try to mess around with you individually. Have your head on a swivel. Do not put your back to danger. I know there's that picture of the innocent Ukrainian girl that just got off work at I think a pizza place. Have a little bit of situational awareness around you and look around. Don't have your back to a lot of danger because there are people that mean you harm out there. I'm not saying that it's going to happen every single time. It's kind of a nebulous, idea. But now that we've seen what people can do to such a big figure at Charlie Kirk, as much as I think some people will back off from the violence, I think some of them, the craziest ones, will be inspired to step it up. So just heads on swivels.
Lots of people are going to be able to, fall through the cracks, and things are still going to happen. But before this happened, I was talking about how to be careful when you're walking out, like me, when I walking out to my car at night with a few bags of groceries, and I got my key between my fingers so I can jab it real fast into someone's eye or in their throat if they try to grab me. I try to be prepared when you live in a in a city like NOLA or whatever. But when I'd walk out to my car, I'd walk and look to make sure there's no one laying under my car, because someone will grab your ankles, knock you to the ground. Another person comes and beat you up, take your keys or whatever, and take you and leave. And you'll never see anyone you love again. And that was before this kind of stuff, this extra psycho people out there that wants to take someone out because of they're Christian or because they're political or whatever it is. And it's scary. But the truth is what I wanted to show was when I saw our young friend that a few of us know from YouTube and Discord, and we've been friends with him for a while. He's young, but because he's got friends like us and we're very open about what we feel is not normal and not right. And we try to give him good advice about, not sharing information with strangers and to be careful and things like that. He's lucky to have so many people that actually care about him, that he's safe and that his family's safe, that type of thing. And so many of these young people, the only people they have are total strangers they've never, ever going to meet in their lifetime. And they're giving them information like, we need to take those people out, things like that. The total opposite of what we tell them, other people are telling them to do to other people, things like that. And if you don't have someone in between to push you and say, that really isn't a good thing for you to do, who's going to stop them? See what I mean? We're all lucky because we have some type of support system, but so many of these people don't have that. They don't have a parent that actually knows what they're even doing on a daily basis. What games are they playing? Who are their friends? Where are they going? Any of this stuff. So it's sad because that it's a collapse in the system. It's a collapse in the families, and these people have no one.
Right there is what you really just hammered the fucking problem, Janet.
Mm-hmm. It's a collapse.
And the thing is that a lot of us know how to build a network. A lot of us know how to start getting friends together, how to build lists, how to get a decent group of people to where you can have chats with each other, and you can have iron sharpens iron. There's not a day that goes by where I don't want to reach out to you or Josh or others that are in our group where I ask questions or just bullshit or whatever. That usually the constraints of the day prevent me from doing that as much as I'd like. But the fact of the matter is that this is a time to where a lot of people are saying, hey, I'm not feeling right. I don't want to do our usual Friday night game night. I don't want to have something going on. I just want to sit and be alone. I don't know if being alone is really the thing. Like, you can have a mourning. You can have like the time for grief. I think that's normal.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where you want to start grabbing your available friends and being like, hey, you got time. And you want to just like unify and just exchange ideas and get shit off your chest that is going to be safe with your friends. And you're going to be able to just have that exchange of ideas where you can transact in the emotions of grief. You can transact in the optimism of, this is going to start something different. This is going to start something new within us. It doesn't really matter how the world sees us. It's just that among us,
even before this whole Charlie Kirk thing happened, you and I, we've been friends for a couple years now, and Six Nations is our friend. We've got a group of our friends that we spend a lot of time with on different platforms. Talking. Texting, just interacting, and when one of them wasn't around for a little bit, we started going, "Have you heard from him?" And you'd say, "No." "Have you heard from him?" "No." We start asking around, and we start getting worried because weeks started going by and we hadn't heard anything. So that's another thing that I'm talking about, is the fact that when you have people that you interact with and you're friends with, and then you're not there, they notice. So they start trying to find you because they actually care about you. So when you have one of these people that may just be the same quiet person and never does anything, but they have parents that know you're in your room, but they don't know what you're doing in your room. They don't ask you questions. They don't interact. So the parents think, "Oh, well, there's no problem then." See what I mean? Instead of going and saying, "Hope everything's good in school, hope this is going on," and have an actual relationship with their family member. And that's what I'm talking about when I said the breakdown of family, is because I've seen so many of these young people that don't have a relationship. Their parents don't even know what their favorite song is, or what their favorite color is, or what their favorite movie or game is. And that's sad when you don't know anything about your family member because you don't spend 5 minutes a day even speaking to them.
Yeah, and that's kind of the reason why I try to tell my friends, like, listen, get a group of people around you. Get 4 people that at least once a month you're throwing 5 minutes at each other, preferably more, unless you're super busy or you've got a job that demands every fucking minute of your time. But you need to have this ability to where if you drop off the face of the earth, you're going to be missed. And your friends start asking questions like, "Hey, where'd Bob go? Hey, Tim's not been seen in a while. We need to, put out a mass text. We need to go on the various sub channels, look on Reddit, and see if he's on his old account, and just find him. Just see if he's okay. Because for a lot of us that do quote unquote live online, we want to make sure that the friends we've got, they don't end up in jail or they don't have a problem going on. Maybe you spending 10 minutes with somebody prevents them from having a situation 3 to 5 days later, because they for a second, like, I do have a support group. I do have a channel of systems out there where I can go out and I can say, "Hey, listen, if somebody's available, just call me." And you need that. And that's something that the veteran community has shown me. And I wish that the civilian community would get a hold of that. But a lot of people, they don't. They just think like, I haven't spoken to him while I saw him at work the other day. He's fine. Really? Did you talk to him? Did you at least interact with him to where he got past the "oh, I'm fine" stage of conversation? Things are good. And that's something that I always beat on. I always beat that drum. And so I would say that if you don't have a few friends that would miss you because you don't throw a fucking meme up, or if you don't throw some chatter in your little group text or whatever, if you're not seen at church and you're usually there Sunday and Wednesday night, there should be somebody that's like, have you
that notices? Yes.
Talked to Chad lately? What's going on with him? Yeah, you're not supposed to be a hermit. That's not the goal. That's not how you were created. As much as a lot of people want to,
I disagree.
A lot of people want to be fucking burying their head in sand at this moment. This is not the time to do that. This is where
I remember. Janet, can I say something? Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say part of this is because of COVID. So many people were forced away from their family and friends that it caused an awkwardness afterward, because some got vaccinated, some did not. Some believed it in the whole crisis that was going on. Others thought it was propaganda. So it started splitting up families. And it just got worse.
even use the word COVID. I always talk about the lockdowns. COVID was a virus. The lockdowns were policies, and the mental damage of people. You know, right now you go to get something to eat, people are standing 10 feet away from the cash register, and everyone's bunched up by the door in a fast food
Yeah.
place because they're still their minds are still locked in maximum compliance with government tyranny mode. But I wanted to get to Bruce's point about like checking in on people and being a good human and human being. I was an older student finishing my degree at a local university, and I'd go to the cafeteria, and I like to just talk to everyone for outgoing, but I was a shy kid once too, once upon a time, and I would go, and if I saw someone that looked a little disturbed or eating by themselves, and I'd invite them to the group, a table with everyone else, check how they're doing. Occasionally, you would find someone that's like, "No, man, just leave me alone. I want to watch my anime." And I'm like, "Okay, dude, that's fine." But I think that humans generally are and want to be social animals in some way. And it's just good to check, right? I'm not going to press it or force them or badger them more than one time, but it's good to just check on people because, there'd be plenty of kids that would take us up on the offer. They'd see like the quote unquote cool kids group or like a group of people having lunch. And just to be invited to have lunch with somebody else is it's a very easy thing to do, and just to check up on your fellow human being, or make a phone call if they're not in the in a face-to-face situation. Check in how people are doing. It's doesn't hurt at all. It's really really easy to do. And I got to get going, Janet, but I just want to say great
Well,
points,
thank you so
Bruce and Ruben
much.
and Janet and the chat
Mhm.
and everyone. Thanks for letting me get over here and say something about that image. It's been a heavy week, and I hope
Mhm.
everybody can take something good and move forward, and have a good weekend too.
Yeah, don't be a
You need,
stranger.
you need to give your mind a rest and keep the morale up. So I hope you have a good gaming
And
session tomorrow.
I would also say, Rooftop, I don't think all the social media is really good for us, man. I
Oh yeah,
don't. I don't like the idea of me. I was looking at Charlie Kirk's death through the worst. I mean, it was the most accurate neck shot I've ever seen recorded. Really, I mean, I'm going to give props to the trigger person. That was really
I
just
think it ricocheted off his bulletproof
vertebrae.
vest.
if
No,
the
it's
point of aim was
bulletproof
the neck
vest.
and he hit the neck,
Hit
that's
the
fine. But
hit it
sometimes
hit
people hit
and you
high or
see it
low.
flick
But
up.
I was surprised by the accuracy. But after I watched that, I thought to myself, "There's a person that just watched this. They jumped over to Reddit to watch another porn video. Then they went on like Facebook and they watched like 17 shorts, like alternating from like watching
Yeah,
dogs be assholes to like bulldozer fails. All of this shit we're not supposed to be connected to.
we're
I don't
not
think we're
supposed to
supposed
be.
to do this.
And I think it's really these social media companies and tech companies. Like I've been saying this for years. Facebook, you're not looking at people face to face, and you're not reading a book. Instead, real life is greater than screen life. And actually being able to look someone face to face, you pick up on all those cues and everything. There's no filters, there's nothing, it's real. And sometimes just putting away the screen. I was in the Arctic for 2 weeks, and it felt good not being able to have any internet connectivity. It was refreshing and recharging. And I think putting the screen down. I think Charlie Kirk said that. You said that, Bruce. A bunch of people have been saying that, and I think it's a good exercise. I just wish these technologies weren't so addictive, because I try to do my best, and I try to tell the young kids that I'm mentoring. I said, can you pocket your phone or holster your phone or put it in the glove compartment if you can't be disciplined to do that? Can we just go out one time and hang out and look each other in the eye? When I went to France one time and I saw these two girls at a cafe, and the chairs are all pointed out so people can people watch. But these girls were not even turning their heads 90 degrees to look at each other. They were looking at the phone and having a discussion in the phone. They were sitting next to each other, and this was in, I don't know, 2013 or something. I said, "Oh, please, please don't let this ruin society. These phones,
Mhm.
the social media." So great message, Bruce. Thanks for for pushing that. Janet, please have a good one.
You
Ruben,
too.
everyone in the chat, have a great weekend. Please maybe a break from our phones is a good thing, you know.
Yep. Well, it is. I've said it many times, and I've showed pictures of you go into a restaurant, okay, with your sister or your brother or your rest of your family, and you're walking through to go to the tables, and you see all the people sitting there, and you'll see whole families sitting at the table, and they're all looking at their phone. They're not even talking to each other for a meal. And to me, I think one of the worst things that ever happened to families is the fact drive-through restaurants, because when you can just drive through and just throw the burgers in the back seat, you're not sitting at a table, you're not saying grace, you're not talking or interacting with each other, you're just cramming the food down your throat while you drive down the road. Little things like that I don't like that. I like having a table. And it's sad that Thanksgiving is one of the only times that people even eat together. And the sad truth about Thanksgiving is that usually you're sitting in front of the TV watching football, and the women are in the kitchen and the kids are playing. But one of the things that I do with my sisters is we try to play games, board games. We make up games to play. We play cards. We play dominoes. My mother loved dominoes. So there's so many things you can do. We need to make that special again. People make fun of me because in my family, because I sit at a table and play a game. It's on the computer, but if I was there, I'd play it at the table with them. But it's an actual game where you roll dice and things like that, and you move your character around, and you either live or die or whatever. And people still make fun of me because of it, because I'm a grown woman playing this game. But the thing is, I'd rather do that than play a video game that makes all my decisions for me. See what I mean? To me, it's totally different. A role-playing game is totally different. But I'm not outside. I mean, but I do have chickens. I have responsibilities on top of it. Plus, I live in Hillbillyville, so half the time I don't even have cell service. I have to have a booster here in my office just to have a cell service out here, and I have wired in internet to my computer, so I'm able to do a lot on my computer. But when I'm not on my computer, I'm lucky if I have a good cell service, so I can send a text message, or I'm not holding my phone, moving around, trying to get a signal. But people that don't have that problem, I can see why they're just scroll constantly on their phone, because people want interaction. People want to talk and listen to music and share fun stories and things like that. But if you don't have anyone, then you're going to get addicted to your phone. I mean, if you have it, or an iPad.
It's dopamine highs. That's all it is. It's just the dopamine hit.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mean to stop. Okay, I'm glad Rooftop exited. I'm sorry that I didn't say quote unquote goodbye to him, but I wanted him to be able to leave and get to where he had to go.
Yeah, he knows, he understands. But
it's frustrating that I have the same issue. Like, I'm sure Ruben has seen this too, where he goes somewhere to a nice restaurant, got like 5 or 6 people there, and if you have anybody under the age of 20, as soon as your ass hits that fucking uncomfortable wooden seat, we'll just say it's Cracker Barrel. They get the phone out and they start liking and sharing all of their like current information, what's going on, appetizer photos, etc. The rest of the party is trying to talk face to face. Like, I don't want to be on Facebook right now. I want to discuss with the people that I'm going to be sharing a meal with, maybe buying their food. I want to at least have the transaction of thought here and figure out what the hell's in your heads, because we're here for a reason. And one, it's to eat, but two, it's a social thing.
Well, it should be. See, it isn't anymore, because I don't know how many. The next time any of you guys go to a restaurant that you actually sit in, and you don't just go up to the counter, order your food, and leave, look around. What are the people doing that are in the restaurant?
I eat at a restaurant probably 3 to 4 times a week, just because my boss drags me to one. And I'm not saying how poor me. I would much rather have somebody else make my food while I have work on my clothing, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yes.
But I definitely need to have somebody able to take care of that and I have a caloric need after about 7 hours at work. Get me some huevos rancheros, I'm good.
Mhm. But this next video I wanted to share was when President Trump went on Fox in the morning. This is before they did the other announcement when Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and all of them came out talking about capturing the guy. And it was interesting, though, what he says, because it says on here, before I'll read this part, President Trump says a minister involved with law enforcement got the Charlie Kirk assassin's father to turn in the shooter. Okay. And then they drove into the police headquarters. So I thought that was interesting. So his father, and whether or not the kid was religious or not, see, that's what I'm saying. I can't wait until they explain a little more about why he says he did it. As far as I can tell, I haven't heard anything or seen anything like the last guy that did that other shooting, and we showed part of his manifesto and things like that. This person doesn't seem to be that type of person yet that I know of, but we don't know. Just like they said also that this young man spent a lot of time on Discord, and that Discord is where they got a lot of the information, his messages and stuff that he was sending on his Discord. So now Discord's getting pointed at, along with Roblox, that type of environment for gamers. Okay, so now they're starting to point the finger saying that gamers might be the problem. So I think it's a little of all of it. It's people that are not socializing with real people. They're spending most of their time sitting in a dark room, playing video games and talking to people in the chat, basically, about different things and getting angry. And that's another thing. When you're playing a game and you're not winning, or it's really hard, or it's very frustrating and it's not funny and you're not laughing, like me playing Goat Simulator, where you can't get angry because it's just stupid and fun and you laugh. When you're playing some of these violent games, it makes you antsy, it makes you frustrated. And on top of that, you burn memories in your mind from the content that the game you're playing, and in the chat with the headphones, and you're talking to other people, and who knows what they're talking about. Maybe one of them was pissed off about something that Charlie had said, and that he just kept going over that over and over in his mind, and he started feeling like it was a personal attack. We don't know. But the only thing is that we can all have a point of view and think we know something, but until the facts come out, we really don't know anything. But I want to play this real quick so we can get this out of the way. So here we go.
Essentially went to the father, went to a U.S. Marshal, who was fantastic, by the way, and the person was involved with law enforcement, but was a person of faith, a minister, and brought him to a U.S. Marshal, who was fantastic, and the father convinced the son, this is it. And again, I'm always subject to be corrected, but I'm just giving you, based on what I'm hearing, they'll give you a much more active. I just heard about it 5 minutes before I walked in. As I'm walking in, they said, looking real good. They have the person that they wanted. So you have breaking news, don't you? Huh?
Thank you.
Always have. Essentially,
that was
the father.
That was just his update that he gave, and a lot of people said, "Oh," but they didn't know whether or not it was truthful or not. They didn't know how long has they had this guy? Nobody's announced anything. And what I loved about it was the fact that it wasn't leaked. You know what I mean? Did you guys realize that it wasn't leaked out, that they caught somebody before they wanted it out? So that tells me that things are getting a little tighter, and that they're getting a little more control over what's going on in their sectors, because it wasn't all over somewhere, or someone else hadn't called someone and said, hey, guess what? I know this. So I'm hoping they can get a kibosh on some of that, because that isn't good for anybody to be able to do any kind of um, stuff that's going on like right now, trying to find out information when you got people leaking it all to get out there, because then you got people out there talking about stuff that if they hadn't been leaked, they wouldn't be talking about it. And then we would know whether or not it's factual information when some guy turns himself in saying something, because a lot of people do that. They lie, go to the cops and said that they were involved in something, but they don't have the evidence. So they just say all the stuff that they heard somebody else saying, that kind of stuff. So that can really mess up a lot of investigations. But had you seen that interview with Trump?
No.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make sure that people saw that. But this next thing I want to share
the leak, from what Hardwick just said, that I do remember that now. Steven Crowder had a leak from the ATF. The ATF leaked all the info about the engravings on shell casing to Steven Crowder on yesterday.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying it was just the one thing. To me, it seems like them having him in custody. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Depending on what department they're in, that they're starting to be able to close the gap is what I'm saying. It seems like it to me. So I'm hoping that by the time this 4 years is over, that we don't have that kind of stuff happening, because we have people that actually care about their jobs and they care about the integrity of the investigations and stuff. That's what I'm talking about, because you can't put people in prison for some of this stuff when there's all these leaks and shit, because they're going to use that somebody snuck in fake stuff or whatever else. But I wanted to share this because what I have seen since Charlie was murdered is people coming out and praising Charlie for what he was doing and helping young people become Christians, or to register to vote because they're conservative or they lean a certain way, and just that kind of stuff. And I really did like this, and this was really cute and sweet and nice on this one person. A young man arrives at the Turning Point USA headquarters playing bagpipes in honor of Charlie Kirk. So I wanted to share a little bit of that because I thought it was really, really sweet, because he didn't have to do it. Oh, I don't have the volume up.
Is that from me?
What?
What was that from?
It's from this morning, and he's wherever the Turning Point office is at. Where is it at? Is it Arizona? Isn't it in Arizona where he lives? Yeah. So, but see all the flowers and the balloons and all the stuff that people, the outpouring of the community for what he's done. And this
Ruben is confused. Ruben, audio.
No. What are you showing?
This is a young man that showed up at the Turning Point.
We're not seeing it, Janet. You need to share it.
Fuck.
That's
That's
why I'm going. What are you doing? Answering anything.
I hate that I do that sometimes. I'm so sorry, everybody.
Thank you, guys. I wasn't the only one that was having a fucking flashback there.
You guys don't tell me that I'm not even going to realize that I didn't do it, because
I remember being on acid once, and I'm like,
can you see it now? Can you see? Okay. This young man showed up at the Turning Point building in front of the memorial over here. You see all the stuff that people brought, and this is in Arizona. This is the Turning Point Center where Charlie basically built this. Okay, this is what he did. He is an entrepreneur, and he started doing something that he felt we needed in our world. And this young man decided to come and honor him by playing his bagpipes. And I just thought that was it made me emotional when I first saw it, because it's just sweet to see that we do have young people that care about others that are still living in this country and that are growing up, and hopefully will pass that on to their own families one day. But there you go. but I just liked it. I thought he was
He
sweet.
tried. It's definitely an attempt, and it's hard to. That's one of the hardest instruments to play, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's really hard. But the fact that somebody did that
I disagree.
with his own choice, he wasn't forced to do it. He wasn't paid to go there. He just felt like he needed to do it and do his part to show that he cared about him and that he's gone. And I just want everybody to see that because I
Okay.
just thought that was really good. Go ahead, Ruben.
Okay, so then essentially, I very, very quickly, I have to go. I'm tired because this has been a very weird time for me.
Yes.
And I was born in 1968. I've been through this shit. I grew up hearing about Martin Luther King.
Mm-hmm.
I saw Bobby Kennedy. My mother wrote it down in my baby book that these things happened when I was a kid. So I know these events. I've seen it. The 60s, the 70s, the 80s, and all of it. This is home because, I remember when Charlie Kirk started out. When I was his age, I followed Rush Limbaugh. I actually went to the Dan's Bake Sale in 1992. I went out there because again, when you are out there, because I grew up in Laredo, Texas. Laredo, Texas is a dog shit city. I have a story about them coming up after this real quick, but it was bad. But the thing is that when I heard this, I said, "Oh, okay," and I saw it. I went, "Oh, okay, grazed him." And when I saw the video, I said, "Fuck this shit!" And it's like it got built up and built up. So here's what happened. With everything that's been going on here, I decided to do something at the end of the end of the year. It started in around a few months ago, but it's been going on for about 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of things that I've written, done stuff, and I've never published anything. I'm starting to publish it now. But most of it is in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Yes, I actually have a solid theory on how the universe exists and reality exists. It's called the lattice of becoming, what I have down here. It means something.
Mm-hmm.
But I enjoy playing my horn and writing music and poetry. I have written over 600 pages of poetry over my lifetime, but I never published anything. But I'm doing that now. So I decided to take a page out of The Wizard of Oz and create a fictional world that's based on a real world with basically giving, a gothic tale, but it's basically using the same methodology. The deep state is called the Bureau, things like that nature. And I wrote a story. And it's done, but I'm not publishing it until Halloween. It's actually a novella. It's around 115 pages long. And it's probably longer. I don't know yet. But then I decided, you know what? Let me do a short story because of what happened to Irina Zarcosta. I'm sorry, her name wrong. And I did that, and I published that. And it's called Dark Mary. It's out there right now. Everyone can saw it on. I'm not going to talk about that right now. But I had talked about what do the great people, the great artists do in times of strife? They create. We had the beat poets. We had Ginsberg. We had Kerouac, of that nature. You had music. You had Joan Baez. You had other things. And people, it meant something because there was a counterculture during the war. And of non-resistance fighting back. And you had the two sides. You had Malcolm X and you had Martin Luther King Jr., who both tragically got, the assassin's bullet.
Mm-hmm.
So I decided back at the beginning of the year to write two works for the 250th anniversary, a symphony and a song cycle. One without words, one with words. And the subject for the symphony was Mar-a-Lago, the raid on Donald Trump. And the song cycle was 4 songs about 4 rebellions, including, if you look it up, 1946, the Battle of Athens, where the people rose up against a corrupt sheriff. And I had set this up, and it was going to be Mar-a-Lago and American rebellions. Then we had this incident that happened, and it changed everything. I spent 24 hours just writing 2 additional works, and it's basically the most deep, dense thing I've ever done. So I decided to make a tetralogy, 4 works all together, and I can share it with you right now. And there are links that they're in the private chat. But first thing I want to share with you is the link. I'm not going to read it. Just show it to you out there on Substack. I'll share what I have here real quick. Share my screen, and I actually put out here if you can see it, on my Substack. Yeah, I wrote a little eulogy for him.
Yeah, let me put it up. There we go.
Yeah, put it out there. You see it there. It's the one that says Requiem out there. Put it out there. And it's basically very simple. My whole heart, because I'm a writer. I write. I speak. You know me. I can go on forever. So imagine if I just sat down and started writing. So I wrote this for him. And you can see that there. But what I did next was I decided that we have to do things differently. And that's where I did this following. It's the tetralogy, and you can see it there, the forward. And it's on X right now. I've sent that to a bunch of people out there, and I want everyone to know about this because this is very important to me. We have to do this. And let me see here. Where is it? I release this. No, it's not that one. That one. No, it's this one right here. Yes. It's the forward to the unbowed republic. We bend, we don't break. That's the whole point. And it's an essay put down here that lists out everything here of what this is doing. And then this work is now dedicated to both Donald Trump and to Charlie Kirk. The original was to Trump, but then I added Charlie Kirk because it had passed away. And then the actual prologue of the work, I want you to show it to you real quick. It's called the prologue. Real quick, just so it's out there. It's actually sitting on Substack, and I have here a prologue, and I actually wrote down here a lot. Because I studied Latin. I studied a lot of languages, German, French, all that stuff, science and all that stuff. So I know what I'm saying here when it does this. And this is a prologue, what we need to do. It's not to be dark, but to be light. So all the responsibility, what we must do, the watershed moment we are having here, everything listed. Here are the 4 works that I have written, and this is an explanation, and I'll just show to you. I'll share this really very, very quick, very, very quickly, what they are. Like I said, it is the 4 works are here: Mar-a-Lago, an expose on what was done to a sitting president, an unprecedented raid, and cultural aftershocks. American Terror is the second week. It's a beat howl. It's a rare indictment on lawfare and the bureaucratic appetite for power over persons. The third work is called American Howl. It's a republic argued in dawn of speech. It's a concentric chorus. It's basically for people sitting out there and just talking. It's like a group, a cathartic release. And the last one was about I Sing the Uncounted Wasteland Republic. It's the lament for the ignored and summoned that built moral commons. It's like we're trying to hear. So I'm sorry, I'm just very tired. But again, I put down here, and then I have here the dedication to both Trump and then I assigned it here because this is out there. I've already submitted this to the semi-centennial committee, and this is ready for performance now. And the last thing I'll show you is the actual work itself, so you can see what it looks like. The link's out there, the Unbowed Republic, and it is massive. This is massive. This is a massive undertaking. It's my life's work when it comes to what we need to do. And it's basically a piece for, and here is the dedication. I put it out there for them, the 4 works, and then the entire work itself. And it's poetry, music, but it's the poetry. And it's very, very detailed here. And it is massive. This is a massive, you read it at your time. There are poems over poem, all the way down. It is long. And it's meant to be read and to be felt. And the ending is this, we're here, all this stuff we're going to do here, and it's the ending. And I signed it, and this is about what we're doing. So this is basically, it's out there now. I'm submitting this because, again, here's the thing. We saw this for the last 5 years. They burn, we build, period. Charlie Kirk passed away. He was murdered. We all saw it. The whole world saw it. Mm-hmm. And how many cities are burning down right now?
None.
Not one.
Nothing
not
yet.
One. How many people are praying? Everybody. They're gathering out there. You see it in college campuses. They're praying. Mm-hmm. People are coming together because that's what happens. They burn, we build. And it's just, I'm done with it. And here's the last thing that happened. I went ahead and shared this work, this completed work on Facebook. And then I told my high school people, which I don't care about them. They're from radio. But I said, you know what? This is about 2020. And I said, this is for the 250th anniversary. And it says there specifically, this is a 250th anniversary piece. And I'm giving it away. They removed it, said that's not appropriate. So they believe in censorship. Fuck them. I'm done with all these people that believe in censorship.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And this is, and then I had the receipts. They said, oh, it's inappropriate to celebrate the 250th anniversary.
Yeah.
Evil lives among us, my friends, and you have to fight back now. I'm up stopping right now. I'm done with this shit. I spent the whole week, again, I spent a whole week putting all together. It's hard. So I want to get this out now. And it's out there now, and we have to change the world. And it's what you do. Do what you can to follow in Charlie Kirk's footsteps. It's so critical now. Do your part. Get out there. Joe does it all the time with his beautiful art. You know, Janet, you're doing it here. We're all doing it. And we got to keep on pushing, got to keep on fighting. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go to bed because I'm tired. And I just, I'm dealing with a lot right now. And unfortunately, my brother's nephew, he's not out of remission yet. He slipped back. So more treatments for him. And my brother is not doing well either because he's pushing himself. He's going to find out what's going to happen here. And then on top of that, a friend of mine has a brain issue. I just found out a few days ago. She called me because she was distraught about Charlie Kirk. And she said, I didn't know who he was, but I'm sad. And then another person I know, my former business partner, calls me and she's crying too. And she's now in the hospital. She had a heart issue. So this is affecting people on a ground level that I've never seen. People are coming out. And again, it's those people that laugh, that's Satan's laugh, the adversary. Be careful, guard you. This is the time that we are called to fight back with love, fight back with honor. Do what Charlie would have done, just like that video said. That's basically, he has mentioned this. There's many videos out there. Well, how would you like to be remembered? What would you do? What's going to happen? And that is the question now. That's the moment. In an instant, within a split second, your life changes. Our lives changed in a split second by an assassin's bullet. Everybody's life changed. And then that's why I said, and I've been saying this for the whole year, how will you be remembered? If you were to pass away, unfortunately, right now, like say, what would your epigraph say? What would your obituary say? What did you do? When you go up to the pearly gates, what did you do with the gifts you're given? And I've said, no more. We're doing it now.
Watched the closing video that I play with Trump when he's saying, what are you leaving behind?
Yeah, I know.
That type of thing. And I think it's important. I think it's a good message because we should live each of our days that we have as it could today. When you go to bed, you may not wake up tomorrow. So live your life every day to the best that you can because this might be your last day.
Yeah, but make sure you put the links out there also. So, but everyone, that's the thing. Yeah, put the links out there because again, it's out there. Like I said, I'm done. I'm done. If my poetry means nothing, then so be it. But at least it's out there. I go there. I talk about Mar-a-Lago. I talk about Ruby Ridge. Everything. I laid out there. I'm done. Yeah. We have to, because again, if we have satanic music from the rock and roll, and you want to have something different, this is different. I'm done. Anyway, guys, I'll let you guys go. Thank you very much again. Stay safe. Hug your family. I actually have another person that's sick also has to go into the hospital too right now. I got 3 people that are sick. People are just like hurting right now. It's just really hard. But the one thing here is I'm staying vigilant. I'm going to do what I can. And things are changing. We have to do it. So take care, guys, and I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you so much, Ruben.
Take care. Bye.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
But Ruben's 100% right. I mean, it's sad that in some people's lives they don't try to make any changes until they're sick or someone they care about passes away, or something drastic like that has to happen before they decide to do something different. I had a friend who, the husband and wife were in a car accident and they didn't have their kids with them. The husband was fine, but the wife's side of the car that was hit, and now she's crippled and she's in a wheelchair. And after that, she had to go to rehab and learn all kinds of things. But the husband was so filled with guilt that he just drove her nuts. I mean, he was constantly hovering over her, trying to do everything for her, cook, do, just doing everything. And she's like, you're smothering me. I need to do things for myself. I need to learn how to cook. I need to do things in the kitchen. Just because I'm in a wheelchair, I'm not dead. And I'm thankful to be alive, and I want to live my life to the fullest I can. And they end up getting divorced because because she didn't love him. She said, I just can't live with him anymore because he's suffocating me. He treated me like I was an invalid, like I couldn't do anything and I felt useless. And she got a job and she changed her whole life because of what had happened to them. And they were both in the same accident, but it changed both their lives so dramatically in two opposite directions. So we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring, but with Charlie's wife, because of the support she had during her marriage and the families on both sides, because I guarantee that his family is going to want to be there with the kids to see their grandchildren grow up. She's going to have a good support system. And I'm sure she's devastated and brokenhearted, but because she knew what he would want her to do, and that and as a Christian, you believe that the ones that passed on can see you. Because I talked to my mother, and I've lost other people. I lost my grandparents, but until you lose someone that's, close to you, someone that you see and talk to on a daily basis, you don't realize the gap that you're going to have in your life. And now she's going to find out what it's like. And I'm going to say this, and it's not to be mean, but her kids are little, that it won't be as devastating on the kids as long as they have a good support group with the grandparents and a good mother and stuff like that, and aunts and uncles will really help. But a young girl or boy that's preteen, older, that had a lot of interaction with their dad or mother, and now they're gone, it's a lot harder to deal with, because especially with the hormones changing in your body and just lots of other things, it's harder. But as a young kids, like the little ones that they have, it's not going to be as devastating. And I'm going to pray for them in the future. And I know that they're going to have what they need. And that's what I was talking about earlier, is that a lot of us, if these people out there that going through all these devastation things in their cities or towns, or shootings at school or whatever is going on, a lot of them don't have two parents to go home to get help or to talk to or share their feelings. And that's one of the things we talked about this morning in one of the spaces I was in, is the fact that we don't have the boys and girls clubs anymore. We don't have, in abundance like they were when I was a little girl. I just remember it seemed like everybody was a Girl Scout. Everybody was a Boy Scout. They had big brothers, big sister organizations, had boys and girls clubs. There was tons of things and places to go after school, for these kids whose parents both worked. But, I just hope that we can start building our communities again and have structures in our communities to help families help themselves, because we need that. But let's see. This is something I wanted to share because Rooftop mentioned it. He said, people keep saying this, how did this start? So I wanted to share this picture here. If you see, it says the post-American world in this book that Obama.
And that's what he's invested in.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So people were saying this, where this started? How did this all start? And most people I talk to now, but they're younger, they're not the, people in their 70s and 80s, saying that the reason that they think that because a lot of these people hate our country, didn't want to see us be successful, didn't want to see people have faith and believe in anything besides government. So I don't know. Maybe that's
how dare you? How dare you put trust in people to do the right thing in a godly sense? How dare that? In America.
But the thing is that I just wanted to share that because somebody sent me that when I was talking about it one time, and I was like, well, yeah, there you go. But this was interesting because a lot of people in some of the spaces I was in some DM groups were saying that they think that Charlie was murdered because the Jews wanted him dead, basically, or Mossad. All these, you got all these conspiracy theories coming
Federal
out.
Reserve.
So I wanted to share this interview with Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay. And I just thought it was interesting because he's being interviewed and he says he insists that Israel had nothing to do with Charlie Kirk's assassination. So it wasn't just something some one or two people were saying. Apparently, it had to be a lot of people that were thinking that to get him to do an interview about it. You know what I mean? So that made me go, wow, I need to watch this because it was shocking to me that he would even do an interview for something only a couple of, way out west people, you know what I mean? Conspiracy theorists had brought up. So I'm going to play this because I just thought it was interesting. But here we go.
Before I let you go, I want you to address one thing, and it's just the absurdity of it. Some of the internet rumors that somehow Israel is behind the Charlie Kirk murder, and I don't believe it for 1 second. But I want you to make a statement. It's so absurd.
That's insane. That's insane. Israel also changes the orbit of the moon. Israel pushes the sun. I mean, the whole thing is. It's not only insane, I think it's so absurd, so stupid, and so ridiculous. You can't believe that people are saying this. They just found the perpetrator. They'll get to the bottom of this. But they go, they have no limits. When you hate Jews, when you hate the Jewish state, you're willing to say anything and promote all these absurd rumors. And by the way, they're willing to kill us all the time. I mean, that's what they're doing. And over the centuries, when Jews, especially in the Middle Ages, the horrific Middle Ages, the worst things were said about Jews you couldn't possibly believe. We were poisoning the wells. We were drinking the blood of Christian children. You name it. I mean, these things, that continued actually up to the Holocaust. The Nazis said the same thing. We're carrying vermin. We're spreading disease. And people believed it. And every time they believed it, this was a prelude to a greater and greater massacre, culminating with the worst massacre of them all, the Holocaust. Well, since then, we've learned, when people spread these lies about us, prepare yourself for the assault. And, they're trying to delegitimize the state of Israel. Charlie Kirk said to me that he wrote me this detailed letter. You have to fight the slander. These untruths, these vilifications have consequences. And he was right. But I'll tell you one thing. We're fighting on the battlefield against the terrorists and winning. And he was fighting on the battlefield of ideas. And I think he was winning. He was going to win. That's why they shot him. I hope they don't silence him. I don't think people will give in to these ridiculous lies.
Well, there you go, everybody. You heard it right from him. So hopefully maybe a few people might think, yeah, that was really dumb, because everybody always has to turn to something.
Well,
I hate to say this, though, but everything in the world isn't a conspiracy. There's regular life happens, shit happens, has nothing to do with anybody wanting something to happen. It just, some things do happen. But go ahead.
There's the biggest problem I have with BB is the fact that he created, kind of in part, the Hamas bullshit we're dealing with today. He needed a way to contact somebody in the Palestinian authority, and you need somebody to be able to pick up the fucking phone so they could at least have parlay. They could talk. And so he's kind of responsible for Hamas, but Hamas has been nothing but a failure ever since its creation, unless you consider thousands of dead Jews a success. I really wish that he
Would.
was.
Then
What?
some people do. So that's a sad truth.
But
That the more dead people they see, that they think they're being successful.
And the problem is that he's kind of responsible because he was very instrumental in their forming. You can go back and you can do the research on it. It'll drop your jaw like it did mine.
Mm-hmm.
But he's kind of guilty for a lot of the shit that's happened since the creation of Hamas, which he was there for. And unfortunately, they just never. God, I sound like such an asshole as his. I wish they would just bulldozer all over that shit. Like, get rid of your West Bank. Make something useful over there that won't have human cockroaches go and settle.
Well, the sad truth is, anytime you build anything, people are going to take advantage of it. People are going to do stuff to it. I mean, look at every single city in the world, basically. You go in, you spend lots of money, and you try to build cheaper apartments or a neighborhood with cheaper homes for people that can't afford it. They get help from the government, and what do? They just trash them.
That's it.
It's a sad truth that some people, nothing's good enough for them. And if you just hand them things, they're not going to take care of it. So a person has to have stake in something to care about it. That's like you were saying earlier about the whole thing about no cities are burning. Well, because who built the cities? We did. Who paid for them? We did, because we work and we pay taxes. And that's the difference. Okay. We are conservative, and we know that it takes a lot of work to rebuild, and it slows the economy. It does lots of damage, but when you have nothing involved in it, you haven't put anything into it. You've just taken and taken and taken from it. You don't care. See, that's the difference. That's why you don't see all the riots and shit when something happens to our side. It's only when something they feel offended about when they do it. That's a fact. I mean, you just have to go back and look at history, look at the news, and find out what happened when this person was killed, or that happened, or they had this tragic thing happen. And it's sad because it always points to the left. So I hate to say that, but that's a fact. But I wanted to share this because a lot of people who don't regularly watch Charlie Kirk on his show with his panel and things like that. I wanted to share this because this was kind of sad. The Charlie Kirk show is gone live. Charlie's seat at the table is there, but it's empty. An absolute crushing scene. All of them are holding back tears. Charlie would have wanted us to be here. He would have been upset if we weren't here. We've left his chair open and empty because nobody can ever fill it. And I think that's a tribute to him. But I wanted to share this real quick.
I think it's going to be like that the rest of the show.
I think it will be too. And it should be, because he deserves it. He did it. He's the one that built it. I can't get this thing
to do this show for all of you today.
To get louder.
And I wanted the friends of this show and of
Sorry, I'm trying to get the volume to go up.
Charlie, that knew him best, the Thought Crime crew, to be here in the studio to commemorate our friend, our dear brother, for this sacred, this solemn moment, this occasion none of us ever dreamed we would have to do. And here we are, because Charlie would want us to be here. He would be upset if we weren't here. And we, of course, have left his chair open and empty because nobody will ever fill it. Nobody could ever hope to. But by all of us together, we want to honor him, and we want to be more like him and we want to be inspired by him, and we want you in the audience to know him like we knew him, and to be up close and personal to the front row seat to history, to a legend, to an American icon that we got every single day.
I think it's wonderful. And I hope more people will start turning in, especially all the young people that have been speaking out about some of the things that they were able to see and listen to when it came to Charlie Kirk speaking out and sharing his information that he had, that he was so happy to share with other people, to teach people. But this next video is another. It says it's the Auburn coach. I don't know anything about sports, so I don't know who this is. His name is Bruce Pearl. Do you know who that is?
No.
Okay, well, these two guys, he says he's talking about Charlie Kirk was assassinated because they couldn't beat him. Okay, so this is like a tribute to him, and I wanted to share it because a lot of people that are into sports would probably know who these people are, and I don't know who they are, but a lot of people said I should share something, more than myself, because just because I don't know them doesn't mean other people wouldn't. Here we go.
Charlie was a man of faith. He knew where he was going when his time came. I know that's not what he was planning on because he had so much to live for here. Dan, he was leading, I think, the most important revival that was taking place in our country, and that was young, conservative Christian people who were on fire for God, who were on fire for Jesus, who were on fire for this country to help get involved in service and the process, and also began to see just that the other side was so different than how they felt about faith and family and the right to life and so many things that we sort of take for granted as part of our DNA. The opposition is pulling farther apart from us and also getting more violent. And I think the reason why they're getting more violent is because, like Charlie Kirk proved every time he debated and had a discussion, he was on the side of right. He was on the side of good. He was on the side of accurate history and for the most part of what he talked about. And they couldn't beat him. And so they killed him. They murdered him. They assassinated him. They eliminated him. But what they didn't realize is they actually didn't. Because he is going to live on. He's going to live on through all of us that followed him, that learned from him. Because here's the deal, Dan. Like, Dan, you are one of the best at what you do. You are. But we all, and I'm pretty good at what I do too. But none of us could touch Charlie. I mean, he had a different gift, and he'll be so missed.
Yeah. So I just wanted to share that.
I agree with that. I mean, he was a force. He was actually what you would call military terms. Jackie Blue will probably recognize this. He's what you would call force multiplier. And if you put Charlie Kirk out there in 2016 and he had the chance to go and discuss things and make it to where he could have an army of young teenage and 20-something-year-old men and empower them with the belief that they should lift heavy things and they should go and do traditional courtship with women, and they should give a life of servitude to God or our Creator, and then afterwards endeavor to become the most productive men that were going to be future fathers of America. Now he's gone from just some rabble-rousing teenage kid who's a bagman for Trump Jr., and now he's got an army of 5,000 or 10,000 very motivated men that are staying amongst their peers that stand for nothing. They have nothing going on in life because they believe the lie that the media told them. There's nothing to live for. There's nothing to do, nothing to achieve. All the cool things we've already done. We've already built the Brooklyn Bridge. We already built the Hoover Dam. You're just going to be a retail worker for Walmart, and you're going to spend the rest of your life as a wage slave. You're going to marry somebody with a shitty retail job just like you, and the two of you might eke out a life in an apartment, and you'll never be able to afford kids. And here's Charlie Kirk giving people hope and telling people about the glory of what God can do, and healing families, and healing families from the generation that tunes into him, because they're the ones that are empowering their parents to quit the addiction, stop your smoking, stop your drugs, stop your alcoholism. Let's heal this family. And within 4 or 5 years, they've got families that are sitting at tables discussing things. This is not a fairy tale. This happened all over the world to those that were tuning into him. When I say he's a force multiplier, I'm telling you, he's a scary fucking piece on the chessboard of life that was literally scaring a deep state, because a Christian supremacist in there who was Christ first in everything he did, and having people listen to him, giving them hope. He's far more deadly to them than any other force on social media. And that's why they had to get rid of him.
Well, I don't, I'm not 100% on that. I think that it was,
You don't have to be.
I know one person, a lot of people wanted him to shut up. I can tell you that. Probably 1 million people wanted him to shut up because they didn't like what he had to say, because it went against what they felt. But the one person who decided that was going to be them that was going to get rid of him, for whatever reason, it's sad that that person was so warped, whatever they felt, whether he did it thinking that somebody was going to praise him for doing it, or what. I have no idea. But this isn't going to be the last one if we don't do something. I can honestly tell you that, because I think there's hundreds and hundreds more of him waiting in the wings, thinking and plotting right now on what they're going to do, what their big out's going to be. So I don't want to find out what it is, but I think we're going to, whether I want to believe it or not. But this right here was another one. This is this person's point of view on why they think Charlie was assassinated. So I wanted to play this for you. I think it's pretty interesting. So here we go.
How do you feel about Charlie Kirk getting assassinated?
It's absolutely horrible. America has something called the First Amendment, freedom of speech. A man was just killed and murdered, the largest conservative influencer and activist that has spent his life dedicated to preaching family values, the gospel, and open and free and fair debate. And he was just murdered in broad daylight. What's crazy is George Floyd died in 2020, a fentanyl crackhead drug addict who overdosed. And for 3 years, the radical left burned down cities, states, and damn near this entire fucking country. They tried to kill Trump. They missed. They just took out Charlie Kirk. And it makes you wonder who's next. It's absolutely insane. And violence like this has no place in America. And it's because of the media, and it's because of the left, and it's because of these fucking retards that say that the guy that says there's two genders is Hitler. And so the only reason that I wasn't murdered and you weren't murdered is because we're not as influential as Charlie Kirk. But they want to do this to all of us. They want all of us gone. So this needs to be a wake-up call. This needs to be a turning point for America, that we need to get our shit together and we need to eradicate this evil enemy within our country.
Well, how'd that make you feel? It sounded like a young you talking. When I saw it.
I think the kid's got a bright future ahead of him. I hope he stays away from working in the gas station or as a custodian.
Doesn't this give you hope, though, when you see a young person?
Can't help but see hope.
He's saying factual information because he believes it. Look at him; he's determined as he says it, and he believes what he's saying. And he thinks that what happened to Charlie is just ridiculous and stupid. There's no purpose behind it. And so he's not blind. He's not wearing blinders. He sees exactly what's happening with the left. And he's not going to fall for it, because once your eyes are open, you don't go back into the matrix. You see what I mean? So it's nice and refreshing to see young people that understand. They're already awake. They already know the truth. And I think it's wonderful. And so that's one person that's on our team that's going to help us push the truth, like what Ruben was talking about earlier. And we need more of them. See, but what they're trying to do is to push the narrative to make people like him shut the fuck up. Shut up. Or what happened to him might happen to you. That's the narrative that I'm seeing from them. They're pushing that, trying to make people afraid to say anything and to stay in their lane, basically, like I was saying from last week. But this next thing I thought was really good because this is something we can do. All of us can do this to whatever extent we can figure out how to do it. I think it's a great idea. And I think we all should watch this and think, wow, we can do this. So here we go. And I'm going to play this for you. Here we go.
I'm out here outside of this Gentle Care Animal Hospital in Oklahoma. Let me turn this around so you can see it. This Gentle Care Animal Hospital in Oklahoma. They got the rainbow up there. Gentle Care. Gentle Care is what they're supposed to be all about. Gentle Care. And yet the owner of this animal hospital tweeted something, and this young man put it right here in the parking lot in the open field right next to the animal hospital so that everybody that brings their dogs or cats to this vet or even drives by can see this. You got to see what this young man, Devin, did. Look at this. This is the actual tweet of the owner of this place. Gentle Care Animal Hospital. Charlie Kirk, right-wing, stupid F, MAGA activist, shot unalive the Utah campus. He's only the first. Are you freaking kidding me? Could we actually be getting smart and culling the sick ones? Oh gosh, I want to offer his family my thoughts and prayers with the middle finger. Yeah, that's what this guy, Christopher Rispoli, the owner of that place, Gentle Care Animal Hospital, has said. So I saw that. I said, I need to come down here and meet the man that put this together. And it's Devin, right?
Yes.
Devin put this together. Devin, you saw this pretty disgusting tweet from the owner of this place.
Did.
And you did something about it.
Did.
Why'd you do that?
I felt it needed done. Somebody had to do it, and rather than talk about it, I just did it.
And when I first came up and asked you about it, you said something about free speech. You said it perfectly. I want you to share what you said.
Free speech is free, but it does still have consequences.
Boom! There is consequences. You own a business supposed to be taking care of people's pets, and you're glorifying and promoting the murder of one of my friends. Charlie was my friend. I've known him for 10 years. It's disgusting. He was a human being. He was a father. He was a husband. What has the response been? We actually have some people out here that stopped by to say hello. You stopped by to say hello and
check it out.
Yeah, I think you said you reshared it or retweeted the kind of exposing the guy. What about you?
So I
You did too?
I seen it on TikTok. Stopped what I was doing. Drove straight here.
How about you, sir?
The same for me. Saw it on social media. I want to come out and support this guy and meet him and shake his hand.
And that's the power of social media, friends. That's why we expose these individuals. That's why we show exactly what these people are saying and hold them accountable. Yes, speech is free, but there's consequences. And that's what Charlie was all about. He was all about freedom of speech. He wanted open dialogue. He wanted people to talk about their differences, not promote murder. He never promoted murder. Ever promote murder. Here we got a young man that wants to pay for the cost of the sign because he's so happy he did it. Absolutely disgusting that somebody would say he is only the first, exclamation point. That sounds like a threat to me. I think we need to get Cash. You let Cash know. Cash and Dan. I'm going to text Dan Bongino. Say you should really know this guy right here is saying he's only the first. How disgusting is that? You got to call evil out for what it is. Call evil out for what it is. Because the Bible says in the final days, people will call good evil and evil good. Well, this is evil, and it should have no place anywhere. And so I'm thankful that all these individuals that are putting this trash on social media are being exposed, that they are putting it on social media. That is pride, which is exactly why Lucifer fell from heaven. Pride, sin. He thought more of himself than he did of Jesus, the Son of God. And it's that same pride that's going to take every single one of these individuals down. So, Devin, if you could have a word to say to the owner, maybe the owner sees this, what would you like to say to the owner?
I think that he should rethink his actions, go back and make a heartfelt apology, and then find some way to make restitution to the Kirk family, or maybe the Kirk Family Foundation, some kind of a large, meaningful donation, and maybe that will show that you are sincerely sorry for the hurtful words that you posted.
That would be a start. I don't think he's rescinded. He's taken off. Has he taken off the tweet yet? The post?
Took down the post.
Yeah, he took it down, of course, but he hasn't issued an apology.
He hasn't. But it was worse than the original post.
Oh, his apology was worse. It was like a slapstick apology. Yeah, that doesn't cut it. That doesn't cut it all. Devin, God bless you, brother. Thank you for coming out here on your own time, making this sign with your own dime, and exposing the evil that's out there, because it's got to be exposed.
Absolutely.
So that's why we post. I've been posting on Instagram, on Facebook especially. I have a whole team that helps me on Facebook. Really put a lot more out than I do on Instagram. We're posting probably every 15 minutes on Facebook. And we're posting a lot of these individuals that are talking serious evil, they're exposing what's inside them. That's what they're doing. They're exposing what's inside them when they post this kind of trash. Every human being deserves life. Every human being deserves life. And to glorify and glory in somebody that's in the murder of somebody, cold-blooded assassination of somebody, it's just evil. So evil is being exposed, and good Americans like this, Devin right here, are making sure that the local community knows. And that's exactly what's happening. So God bless you. Please share this and keep sharing and exposing the evil. God bless you, Charlie. I know you're up there in heaven just smiling, having an amazing time. And I know God knows that we'll be good, and that he's going to multiply the service, the life that you lived here on earth. He's going to multiply that by 1,000,000. And that's what's going to happen from Charlie's life and his death. God bless you all.
Well, I really like David Harris. I've been following him for a long time on Instagram. And when I saw that, well, that's a good way to get even with these people, to prove that we can make a difference without having to do violence, by just sharing that this person said this, and he's enjoying or, loving the fact that someone went out and killed someone because they didn't agree with them. It's pretty sad. I wouldn't go to that business, and I would like to know if that business is doing that. But go ahead.
I'm loving this consequence culture we've been watching the past 36 hours.
Mm-hmm.
I'm loving it. I know this sounds petty. What do you expect from me? I'm 5'6". I don't give a shit about your feelings. I am absolutely loving seeing all these people on social media blast people for like, hey, you remember this tweet? Hey, you remember your Instagram post? Hey, you remember this when you drugged this guy through the mud after he was done bleeding out through a neck shot? You happy about the fact that this guy was he was raising two young kids. He had a beautiful young wife. I love it because you're seeing consequence culture, which is what I just read that word. It was in our chat. I like it. I'm going to steal it. Consequence culture. It is literally the find out portion of fuck around. And I love this FAFO shit. It's great. We needed this.
Yeah,
and as much as I did not ever want to lose Charlie Kirk, especially before his time on Earth was over, if his death literally paves the way for people being awakened to the evil within their neighborhoods and in their states and in the nation, if it allows us to get a revival and get us back to where we should be, to where we're talking face to face, we're looking at people, having conversations, and we're pissing off the deep state, if we're able to literally undo the banking cartels and the elites and rip out the WEF, any controls that jackasses like Bill Gates has. Like right now, he's suing Texas because we're not taking his plant-made beef bullshit, and
Yeah.
hopefully he
Well,
loses
he
his
won't
ass.
win. He won't
But
win. But I'm liking all
I'm
this
hoping this
too.
trend continues, Janet. We need this
I
to
think it's going to. What happened? Remember, it wasn't 6 months ago where all these libs were doxing people and having pizzas delivered to their house, making phone calls saying that so and so is beating their wife to death or they've killed their kids, all this stuff to get the SWAT teams to go out to their houses. Okay. So turnabout's fair play. I don't want us to do that to people, but what we're doing right here, like I'm about to show you, is another person who is finding what these people say, videos or posts, and if it's derogatory, where they're saying stuff, they're laughing about someone being murdered, things like that. Like they were started doing this after that girl was stabbed in the throat by that one guy on the bus.
We will
train
not forget you, Orinia. You were kind of the last thing that Charlie Kirk tweeted about her as his last.
Mm-hmm. So we got another guy. Sorry, I got another dry spot. Hold on. Ugh. My allergies are killing me. But this guy
be on here forever.
It says American is spending his days going around on the internet, finding people and making fun of Charlie Kirk's death. And I go on and report them to their employers so they get fired. We have sent out over 300 emails to employers. Sorry, my eyes are watering now. And we have gotten about 15 confirmed fires so far. Now, truth being told, we probably lost about 50,000 followers throughout all the social medias while I'm doing this. But I'm not gonna. I can't read anymore. But I'm gonna go ahead and play this video for you. Here we go.
Hi, my name is Quinn Pratt, and I like going around on the internet finding people making fun of Charlie Kirk's death, and I go and report them to their employers so they get fired. And we got 5 more. We have sent out over 300 emails to employers, and we have gotten now 15 confirmed fires. So without any further ado, let's get into it. Gabrielle from Illinois, you're fired. Lincoln from Utah, you're fired. Amanda, another Amanda from Wyoming, you've been terminated. Suck it. Shasta from Washington State, your ass is fired. And Curtis, again from Texas. What the hell, Texans? What the fuck? Curtis from Texas, you've also been terminated. You're welcome. Now, truth being told, I've probably lost about 50,000 followers throughout all social medias while I'm doing this. But I would rather have every single one of my accounts hit 0 before I give in to these people. So if you want to try and affect me or affect my income by unfollowing me, I don't care. I would much rather go back to a 9-to-5 job than let this kind of shit slide. And I know for a fact that over half of this country agrees with what I'm doing. So hopefully they start finding me pretty soon. So go ahead and do your whole mass unfollowing and everything like that, because again, I would rather see all my accounts hit 0 than letting you guys try and bully me into not doing this anymore. And if you agree with what I'm doing, please hit that follow button. Counteract their mass unfollowing of me.
I think this is great. I'm seeing more and more of this. All these people that are fed up. They're fed up with seeing these people get away with doing this stuff to other people all the time. And then like what we've been seeing, like on our channels on YouTube, getting mass reporting, right? You get one person who's pissed off that they got their feathers or their panties in a wad from something they didn't like that you said. And then they get their friends to all go and report your channel. So you get all these reportings and they shut you down or you can't do anything while they're looking into it. And sometimes they come back and say, "Oh, well, it wasn't nothing," or they don't tell you anything. They just don't do shit because they could care less about us. So I don't know. I'm really liking seeing people taking this extra step to try to do something and get these people's names out there at least. So it's like reverse psychology basically, and I'm liking it. I'm enjoying seeing these things happening. So here is another video that I thought was important. I'm trying to swap in between, the regular people and then maybe some official stuff. And this is the Utah governor, Spencer Cox, talking again, another interview. So here, I'm gonna play this.
Do authorities believe that Tyler Robinson acted alone?
Yeah, yes, Brett. They're very confident right now. Obviously, the investigation is ongoing. They're still following every lead. We appreciate the public who has reached out, but every piece of evidence we have so far makes it very clear that the assassin acted alone.
So I saw you read from the do authorities believe?
Sorry,
that
I was getting a drink for my throat. But so there you go. You got the governor again. They still believe, as of right now, that or today, that he acted alone. So what I'm really happy about is the fact that he's not dead, that they were able to get him without, death by cop or taking a bottle of pills, stuff like that. And I think that's one of the reasons why his father was willing to do what he did, because he knows that his son's not in his right state, and that who knows what he might do in desperation. So he might have just saved his son's life, basically, if you know what I'm saying. But this next video is another person's point of view of what they think is going on, and with Charlie. So here we go. Here's another video.
I don't even know how to start this video. We're all very sad, very upset, very sick by what happened to Charlie. So I'm going to read my initial statement about this, and then I'm going to show some of the liberal media's reactions to this, and just a small sample of the countless lunatics online who are celebrating what happened. And then I'm going to make a suggestion. One thing that I want to see come out of this, I think would be extremely important and very necessary. So my initial thoughts: the liberal media killed Charlie Kirk. Them and the unscrupulous Democrats in Congress who created a hysteria with their relentless propaganda, depicting President Trump as the reincarnation of Hitler and his inner circle and even his average supporters as fascists. Liberals couldn't win the debates against Charlie Kirk when he visited college campuses across the country because their ideas are garbage and they are immoral fools. So they killed him in hopes of silencing his message, which has only put a spotlight on it and will cause it to spread 1,000 times faster and further than it was already going. Rest in peace, Charlie. President Trump, who wasn't just an admirer of Charlie Kirk and very grateful for what he's done for his campaign, for conservatism, for reaching the youth on countless college campuses across the country over the years, also a personal friend of Charlie's, issued this statement from the Oval Office.
To my great fellow Americans, I am filled with grief and anger at the heinous assassination of Charlie Kirk on a college campus in Utah. Charlie inspired millions, and tonight, all who knew him and loved him are united in shock and horror. Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. Charlie was also a man of deep, deep faith, and we take comfort in the knowledge that he is now at peace with God in heaven. Our prayers are with his wife, Erica, the two young, beloved children, and his entire family, who he loved more than anything in the world. We ask God to watch over them in this terrible hour of heartache and pain. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today, and it must stop right now. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country. From the attack on my life in Butler, Pennsylvania last year, which killed a husband and father, to the attacks on ICE agents, to the vicious murder of a healthcare executive in the streets of New York, to the shooting of House Majority Leader Steve Scalise and 3 others, radical left political violence has hurt too many innocent people and taken too many lives. Tonight, I ask all Americans to commit themselves to the American values for which Charlie Kirk lived and died, the values of free speech, citizenship, the rule of law, and the patriotic devotion and love of God. Charlie was the best of America, and the monster who attacked him was attacking our whole country. An assassin tried to silence him with a bullet, but he failed, because together we will ensure that his voice, his message, and his legacy will live on for countless generations to come. Today, because of this heinous act, Charlie's voice has become bigger and grander than ever before, and it's not even close. May God bless his memory. May God watch over his family. And may God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Of course, the servants of Satan and the mainstream media are very upset that President Trump paid tribute to Charlie and vowed to avenge his death.
He put out a 4-minute video, and I'm not going to play the video. I don't want to play the video. But there was a line.
Oh, don't want the audience at MSNBC to hear what the President of the United States.
Yeah, you don't want to see it, do you, there, Jen? Huh?
Political assassination in America in
fucking demon-ass.
generations. Can't do that.
Line at the end that I think is, I just wanted to raise and read. At the end of this 4-minute video, he says, "For years, those on the radical left have compared wonderful Americans like Charlie to Nazis and the world's worst mass murderers and criminals. This kind of rhetoric is directly responsible for the terrorism that we're seeing in our country today."
Yeah, that's pretty obvious. People like you.
And it must stop right now. And obviously, there's a lot of rhetoric that is problematic. A lot of it is coming from one particular side and from
how many facelifts did she have to get that
also,
look on her
it's the
face?
right who are spewing dangerous rhetoric. One particular building from the White House. Oh.
But what can be done? I fear when this is an escalation already in less than 24 hours of this shooting.
One thing I want to say really quick is that when they say, look at all this, because I've seen it on The View a few times. I don't watch The View, but people share their little snippets with me. And they constantly say, Donald Trump said that, or says this, Donald Trump did this, the White House did that, this, that, and the other, but they never show the clips. They never, like what you're seeing with the gentleman that's doing that, he's sharing you the proof that this person said this, just like what we saw when David Harris was showing the actual tweet that guy printed out and put across the street from that business to show people that guy put this on social media saying how happy he was that somebody murdered someone. It's disgusting and repulsive. And you're right. A person saying those things and then putting it on social media, they really believe that. They really think it's okay to murder someone because they have a different point of view. And it's disgusting that we actually have people that tune in every day to watch these people, knowing that they're full of shit, and they're pointing the finger at anybody who stands up to these people. And she's one of the reasons why I want to get the Smith-Mundt Act, the changes that Barack Obama made to it, to
Very
let
narrow.
say this shit. That's what I want. One of the reasons why I feel that way. Now, what did you say? I'm sorry.
I just said Barry Soetoro.
Yeah.
His birth name. As far as I know, that's his birth name. I never have seen his actual birth certificate, so I really can't tell you. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just gonna say that, to my knowledge, it's Barry Soetoro.
Okay, well, I'm going to finish playing her thing.
Oh, President Trump is escalating the rhetoric by accurately describing who it was that caused this hysteria, which incited a lunatic to engage in this assassination. This is the kind of insanity that passes for supposed news on the left.
Talk to me about the environment in which a shooting like this happens.
Well, I've just described it, but she's asking one of her guests to describe his assessment, obviously.
Yeah, and again, to emphasize what you just emphasized, we don't know any of the full details of this. That we don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this.
Yeah, you obviously have no idea about this. So why are you on air talking about it?
But following up on what was just said, he's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. And I always go back to hateful thoughts.
Why is it hateful to want people to get married, have a family, don't abort your babies? You know, why is any of that bad?
How terrible!
Yeah,
That's a hate crime.
I know, but see, that's what I'm saying. They can't point out anything. They say that he's a Nazi. They say this, they say that about him, but they don't have any, they don't show you anything that proves it is. It's all talking and pushing.
have you ever, as much as you and I talk about it, have you ever studied Saul Alinsky?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna have to get a hold of the book for you, Rules for Radicals. And you have to understand that was written back in like the 70s or 60s, before I became a dirty thought. And that is the playbook that they've used for over 50 years. And that's the playbook that was like when Mark Levin was involved with I believe the Reagan White House, they got a bunch of those books in because they were wondering how there was so much traction in the Northeast. And they discovered that book was one of the primary tools that the left was using at the time.
Yeah, and the other thing is this guy, okay, and this lady are the same people that are pushing the fact that it's okay if you're a little boy or a girl want to poo-poo and pee-pee in a litter box in your classroom, that's normal. Okay. And the same people that push that it's okay to cut a little boy's penis off and make him into a girl, cut his testicles off so he'll never be able to be a father ever. Even if he was gay, he could still be a dad because he has the parts that he needs that God gave him to have a child. Stuff like that. That's not considered a barbaric and psycho. I just don't get it. It's just disgusting and it just repulses me. But here we go.
Lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
Matt.
And that's the unfortunate environment we're in.
So he's blaming Charlie Kirk for exercising his freedom of speech, hate speech. This incident couldn't make the left look any worse. Not only did they assassinate one of the most prominent and powerful conservatives in America, but they did it during a debate when he literally was encouraging people to come up and openly challenge his ideas exercising the foundational freedom that we have in this country, which the left obviously hates so much that they will do anything to try to stop those who they oppose. Barack Obama issued this statement saying, "We don't yet know what motivated the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk. We just have no idea. I mean, maybe it was just an armed robbery gone bad, hey, Barry? But this kind of despicable violence has no place in our democracy, blah, blah, blah. Michael and I will be praying for Charlie's family tonight." Sure you will. And because Charlie was such a prominent figure in conservative media, in politics, revitalizing and re-energizing conservatism on college campuses across the country. And I know I've been a big critic of his for years over particular issues. As a media analyst, I just don't cheerlead people. I criticize, analyze, tell you the good, bad, and the ugly, but also at the same time was always very appreciative and respectful of Charlie's incredible work. Even the New York Yankees held a moment of silence for him yesterday before the game. And it's reckless and immoral political rhetoric like this from Governor Gavin Newsom, which contributed to this environment, which inspired this monster.
I'm sorry. I know some people's sensibilities. I respect and appreciate that. But right now, with all due respect, we're walking down a damn different path. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're going to punch these sons of bitches in the mouth.
I mean, when you got the most powerful Democrat senator openly threatening Supreme Court justices and feeling completely safe to do so with no legal or political repercussions, you know that there's something very wrong in this country.
You have released the whirlwind, and you will pay the price.
How are Supreme Court justices supposed to pay a price? They're nominated once they're confirmed. They're on the bench for life.
You won't know what hit you.
But here's MSNBC anchor Nicole Wallace lying like a servant of Satan with her silver tongue, telling her audience that only people on the right use and engage in violent rhetoric.
The permission structure for violence. You've got polls about political violence. Democrats don't think it's a good idea. Only Republicans. Only people inclined to consume conservative media are now, I think, upward of 50% say that if necessary, violence is okay. You've only got the conduct on one of the two sides.
Oh, it's only one of the two sides. Of course, everything is upside down and backwards with these people. Here is just a small sample of people publicly celebrating Charlie's assassination on TikTok. There may be some swearing in here. I'm not going to go through and bleep out these words from these creatures. I don't have the time. And people need to hear what it is that they're thinking. And again, this is just a small sample of what are most likely just thousands and thousands of people that are publicly doing it, let alone those who are privately celebrating.
So 2 things that I want to say that probably.
So she captioned it, "My thoughts on Charlie Kirk pew-pewing." Get it? They're trying to use code words so that the algorithm doesn't detect them using these incendiary words.
Well, look at her. Do you think this girl has a job, or do you think she lives with her parents and they buy all this bling and pay her bills and all that stuff? Just wanted to add that.
Will get me in trouble on this app and probably get me flamed, especially by the right. Number one, I think it's kind of poetic justice that the man who was spreading nothing but hatred and, dishonest rhetoric got pew-pewed in the throat.
A guy who was willing to openly debate his ideas on campuses across the country. That's just poetic justice for her. This person posted on Facebook thanking the shooter.
So I'm going to be very fucking clear about this so that you know exactly where I stand.
Oh, we already know your fluorescent hair makes it already abundantly clear.
And I will say this with my whole entire chest. There are some people on this app that are sitting there saying, oh, you shouldn't wish death upon any person, no matter what side they're on. Fuck that. Fuck that. Charlie Kirk was a fucking Nazi. He was a fucking Nazi. And you know what kind of Nazi is the best Nazi? A dead one.
Hello, Internet. I regret to inform you that Charlie Kirk, co-founder of Turning Point USA, was shot in the neck while speaking at an event at Utah Valley University. Please join me in this moment of silence.
We need to start using some of the tactics from the left and use the tool of cancel culture to get these people fired from their jobs. Because if you own a company, would you want to be in the vicinity of anybody who is this evil, who would celebrate the murder of anybody, let alone a peaceful person engaging in a debate on a college campus? These are the kinds of people who, I mean, really should be rounded up and institutionalized.
These are the same people, though, that had an abortion van available while they were doing their convention. It's disgusting.
Fucking stoked right now.
Notice how they're all just dysgenic, just green hair, fluorescent hair, nose rings. They're just mutants.
You want to know why I'm so fucking stoked? Go ahead and Google Charlie Kirk. Go ahead.
Publicly posting this, not just talking about
Your
this
dad's gotta
amongst
be
her
proud.
friends when she's drunk or just in the privacy of their own home, publicly posting this for the world to see. Chuck Yeager over at the Young Turks, who does have a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome, but does call out a lot of the corruption on the left, posted this video sounding like a normal human should.
Charlie Kirk was shot in Utah, giving a speech there. I just found out he's passed away. I can't believe he's dead. He was shot in the neck. Some of you might have seen an elderly man being dragged away. Turns out it was not him. Authorities don't know who did it. Violence is not the answer. This is a horrific tragedy, and we're all in danger now. This is a terrible, terrible thing to do. Violence is intellectual surrender. It's giving up and saying, I'm a loser. I don't know how to win in a battle of ideas. I'm going to resort to violence like an animal. It is the very last thing anyone who's progressive or on the left would ever do. We are for nonviolence. We are for peace. We are for our fellow human beings and humanity overall. So I don't know who did this, but whoever they are, they're a monster, and they've done something terrible. That was not just a pundit. That was a human being. I'm so sorry to the Charlie Kirk family.
I'm not going to show the video and the videos for obvious reasons. They're very graphic. I almost became ill when I saw it yesterday. They're floating around on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, on X. And at first I was almost going to caution people not to watch it because it's so disturbing. But I almost think that people, especially on the left, should see it because they should see what it is that their rhetoric, that the mainstream media, that these satanic Democrats in Congress, what they have done. And it looks like Charlie was wearing a bulletproof vest. You can see what looks to be one of the straps here from a vest that is perhaps like this, knowing very well that this was a possibility. And it looks like the bullet actually hit the vest in his upper chest, lower neck, and then ricocheted up and then
That's what I
struck
tried
his
to
neck.
tell you
So
earlier.
very well aware of this possibility. In fact,
It wasn't a
posting
perfect
on Twitter,
shot.
on X, not long ago, assassination culture is spreading
It
on the
was
left.
a ricochet.
48% of liberals say that it would be at least somewhat justified to murder Elon
Yeah,
Musk.
I remember being edgy on this earlier.
55% said the
I was
same
thinking
thing
the
about
level
Donald
4
Trump.
might stop that
California
type of bullet. Probably
activists
not.
are naming ballot measures after Luigi Mangione. The left is being whipped into a violent frenzy. Any setback, whether losing an election or losing a court case, justifies a maximally violent response for them. This is the natural outgrowth of left-wing protest culture, tolerating violence and mayhem for years on end. The cowardice of local prosecutors and school officials have turned the left into a ticking time bomb. That he posted earlier this year in April. Oh, and then there's this from Rabbi Shmuley, this phony Jewish rabbi who posted, today, as we witnessed yet another attempt to silence pro-Israel voices, obviously referring to Charlie, we are reminded of the constant threats facing Rabbi Shmuley. For years, he had stood boldly for Israel and the Jewish people, and yet has been physically assaulted in Vienna, Miami, Sydney, and even in Times Square. And then he lists links to his GoFundMe page. Donate now. Urgent appeal. Protect Rabbi Shmuley. If you don't know who he is that butt plug rabbi He literally sells butt plugs at an LGBTQ sex shop over in Israel. And I know a lot of people that doesn't compute because they still think that Israel being a Jewish country means that it's a Jewish religious country. And I've tried to impress this distinction on people for years. The majority of Jews, especially in Israel, are secular Jews. They're ginos. They're Jews in name only. They're not religious Jews. They're atheists. They are nothing. They have nothing to do with the religion of the ancient Israelites. And then there's phonies like this who pretend to be a rabbi and pretend to be a religious Jew while it's all just a scam. Charlie Kirk was so demonized by the mainstream media that Jezebel, online waste of cyberspace, feminist blog, says that they paid some Etsy witches to curse Charlie Kirk. And while he was a big supporter of Israel, which we all know is mandatory to be in the inner circle of mainstream conservative media and the Republican Party, over the last few years, he has been stepping out of line and saying things that I've covered here, supporting.
Yeah, I'm having a problem with that. I don't agree with him. Just because you want to be in the middle of something doesn't mean you have to be a Jew, and it doesn't mean you have to love the Jews and want to be a person that worships with the Jews. A Christian doesn't necessarily mean you're a Jew, because most Jews and most people in that religion don't even believe that Jesus is Jesus Christ.
I mean,
like
if they believe in Jesus, they're no longer Jewish.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So say that that Charlie has to fit in and go along with the Jews, or he doesn't get to have fame and fortune.
I have an exhibit for you.
I think
I have an exhibit A for you, Janet.
Mm-hmm. Where is it?
Her name is Candace Owen.
Yeah.
And where's Candace Owen today?
What difference does it make?
She absolutely is on the anti-Israel train.
Okay, so she's still famous. She still has money. She still has a job.
She's got about a fraction of what she had. And Grumpy, there are Messianic Jews, correct? But
that might be because she's making bad decisions for her career. It has nothing to do with whether other people can pull the plug on you just because you don't agree.
She doesn't have the reach she had. A lot of people on the right don't view her as a serious.
I know, but that, to me, saying that is no different than what these other people are saying about Charlie. When you say you demonize somebody because they're Jewish or they're American Indian or because they're a Wiccan or whatever it is, it's exactly the same thing. When I say that I'm a Christian, okay, and I'm not going to get on my knees and stand up and down like somebody that's Catholic. I'm not going to go to a church and I'm not going to do certain things because that's not my religion. So the fact that they're saying that he might have died or been shot because the Jews wanted him dead because he wasn't standing for the Jews anymore, I just think that's ridiculous. That's why I wanted to show the Netanyahu thing, trying to give all perspectives. And this guy, some of the things that he's saying, I agree with, but I don't agree with that part of it. That's all I wanted you to say.
The thing is that we can agree to disagree.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I'm just saying that's my point of view. I didn't want people watching this later thinking that I agreed with this guy. I'm having it on here because it's important that you get different points of view, but that I don't agree with that. I don't agree that any of that with the Jews. I just think that's ridiculous. And he is right, though, when he said that people live over there aren't all worshiping Jewish people. You know, they're not all running around preaching the gospel or whatever it is for their religion over there. There's people over there that are drug addicts. There's people over there that are alcoholics. There's people over there committing adultery. Same thing in every country. So there's sin in every country. There's criminals in every country. There's good people in every country. And just because you don't agree with someone doesn't mean that everybody Everything is not a conspiracy. Okay. If I go out and I trip in the parking lot and I hit my head, and then the next day everybody say, "Oh, look, but
The Bolsheviks did it."
She denounced the Jews had her slaughtered." See, it's just stupid. It's just dumb to do that on every single thing, on any person that happened to be on TV for their 15 minutes of fame, and now they're in there because, oh my God, they went against the Jews. Oh my God, they went against the Catholics. So then now their heads on chopping block. I just think that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard, because of that kind of rhetoric is one reason why I think that the left goes farther and farther away, because if you put a bullseye on every single person because they said something, then what's the difference between the two sides? When the whole COVID thing was going on and people were saying we need to put people like me in a camp because I didn't get jabbed up and I wasn't going to wear a mask and I wasn't going to do all these things that stick up my nose, that was probably
that was bad.
together on the floor by a bunch of kids. Nobody's doing anything medical. Okay, so I don't know if that's even sterile. I'm not going to shove that up there next to my brain. But when all this stuff started coming out, that that the COVID shots weren't good and the testing thing was fake. So you could wipe a dog's ass, you could wipe a piece of fruit or a cabinet, and all of them would come back positive for COVID because it was set up that way to help push the companies to be able to get the vaccine on the market. Okay, and that's one reason why I wouldn't let anybody stick that up my nose. But the thing is, we can't believe everything is a conspiracy. Okay, and I had the right to say no, and so did anyone else. They should have, because Trump didn't push it. It wasn't until Biden got in that he forced people, saying, well, you're going to lose your job, you're going to kick you out of the military or whatever else. But guess what? When the tables turned and people started saying they're getting vaccine injured and stuff, I wasn't going around saying, put them all in camps. Let's lock them all up because they don't deserve to have medical treatment. I never turned the tables on the other people, even though they were doing it to me. All the people in my family that kept bringing me COVID tests, telling me, take this, take this, take this, take this, take this, go get the shot, hounding me. Guess what? I didn't cave because I said no. And if you don't fucking like it, don't come see me. That's what I did. I stood up for myself. And just because I did that, does that mean I'm a Jew hater or a Jew lover or whatever? Has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with my personal choice about my own body, just like everyone else has the same right. So he can say that if he wants, because that's what he believes. But I don't believe it. So I'm going to go on and finish playing it now.
Supporting him, congratulating him, respecting him for daring to say things like this.
And Jewish donors, they have a lot of explaining to do, a lot of decoupling to do, because Jewish donors have been the number one funding mechanism of radical, open border, neoliberal, quasi-Marxist policies, cultural institutions, and nonprofits. This is a beast created by secular Jews. And now it's coming for Jews, and they're like, what on earth happened?
That's bold. That's a really bold thing to say. Up until recently, you would never, and even still, you would hardly ever hear anybody in the mainstream conservative movement or media dare to even hint at such things. But he went even further. He pointed out the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not criticize Israel for any reason whatsoever. Listen to this.
We're just going to try to, we're going to just stamp out everything type of practice. But
he's talking about how they will just shut down any criticism, no matter how small, immediately to prevent it from spreading and to prevent that person from continuing to say what they say.
But it goes to the point where if, for example, if I have less ability sometimes online to criticize the Israeli government without backlash than actual Israelis do. Mm-hmm. And that's really, really weird, isn't it, Megan?
See, he knows what's going on. He just, he's got to be a little more delicate about it. But like we know it's weird, Charlie. Thank you for pointing that out.
Megan, that's not so right.
Wrong-headed. I'll tell you this, for me.
They even lost Megyn Kelly on a lot of this. He even hinted that the IDF, the Israeli Defense Force, Israel's military, allowed the October 7th attack from Hamas to happen. Okay. It didn't say why. We all know why, as a pretext, as a justification to then ethnically cleanse the Palestinians from the region. And no, I did not say.
And he doesn't know why for sure. That's his point of view. See what I mean? So that's, to me, that's rhetoric too. When you state something as a fact, when you don't have it as a fact, it's not like you have a something that opened up in front of you and gave you the facts. That's that gentleman's point of view, that they just let them in there to slaughter their people and kill them. Stuff like that is just as bad as the stuff that these other people are saying. If I stand around and say, well, I want to see every communist put to death, and I want to cut their heads off and throw them in duffel bags, how is that any different than them saying, I want to kill every Christian, or I want to kill every Jew, or I want to kill every baby? There's no difference. See? So to me, it's all the same. So not saying you want to do things like that is better than saying it for any person or any dog. What kills me is when people talk about wanting to kill people because they're real Nazis, or they're real this or that, or whatever it is. They think that's okay. But if I say that I'm going to go out and kill a litter of puppies, oh, she should be put to death for saying that. So there's no difference. When you talk about wanting to kill for enjoyment, that's all wrong. No one should say shit like that. That's not something I want to be known for. I don't believe in that shit. And I voice my opinion about it. And a lot of people don't like me because I have Trump's stick in my mouth. That's what they tell me, because I'm always rooting for Trump. Well, I'm rooting for Trump because he's my president, not because I have any sexual favors I want to do for him or anything like that. But people will tell me that about me because they don't agree with what I have to say, which is fine. They have the right to say that if that's what they want to say about me, even though they don't know me at all, right? As a person.
Get some rest, buddy.
But that's just the way I see it. But I'm going to finish this real quick. Here we go.
Cleanse, they're obviously driving them and pretty much have driven them from the region. Big difference between ethnic cleansing and a genocide. That's why I choose my words very carefully. But this is what Charlie dared to say about that.
I've been in Israel many times. The whole country's a fortress. When I first heard this story, I still had the same gut instinct that I did initially. I find this very hard to believe. I've been to that Gaza border.
That they didn't know.
You cannot go 10 feet without running into a 19-year-old with an AR-15 or an automatic machine gun that is an IDF soldier, right? The whole country is surveilled. And so let me just kind of go through this. We don't talk about Israeli politics very often, and most Americans don't know this. The last 9 months, Israel was on the brink of civil war. It's not an exaggeration. This judicial stuff, there were hundreds of thousands of Israelis taking to the streets because Bibi Netanyahu was basically redefining the Israeli constitution. That's not an exaggeration, right? He said the judicial branch has too much power. There were protests planned this week against Netanyahu, where they anticipated tens of thousands of people to take to the streets. That's all gone, Patrick. Netanyahu now has an emergency government and a mandate to lead. I'm not willing to go so far that saying that Netanyahu knew or there was intelligence here, but I think some questions need to be asked. Was there a stand down order? Was there a stand down order? 6 hours? I don't believe it. Israel's the size of New Jersey. When I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border, it's 45 minutes. Wow. 6 hours. They're live streaming the killing of Jews. Did somebody in the government say stand down?
That's beyond a bold. That's a very risky thing to do. That's the kind of thing when somebody in Charlie's position starts.
Yeah, it is a risky thing to do. But if they really didn't want anyone to know about what he said, it never would have aired. You would never have seen it, because governments do that right now. China doesn't let anything out if they don't want it out. There's other countries that can't even get on YouTube. Okay. There's people on YouTube that can't say or record anything because their government has it fixed to where they can't say or do certain things. So if they really didn't want someone like Charlie Kirk to say those things, we never would have heard it. That's what I believe. That's my truth on that.
There's talking about things like that could get Mossad to try to get rid of you. I'm not saying that's what happened, but this is the kind of talk from someone so prominent that usually starts to cause some problems for them.
Epstein
Good,
with
good,
his little
good,
friend
thank you.
Ghislaine and
What?
It's been Filka. They're out. Have a good night.
Oh, they're leaving. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
I'm
did
on-
Nerdy Ogre.
Okay, I'm on the. I said goodnight to him when you said that, but I'm over on the other screen, so I don't see the chat when I'm over there holding my thing so I can pause it or whatever, because you can't pause it from here. I can't pause it from here. So, but yeah, thank you, and I hope you guys have a good evening. The ones that had to leave.
Yeah,
But,
we're getting to that point where Janet's allergies are going to completely shut her down.
Well, I haven't taken my medicine, but I've got quite a few other things I wanted to share before. But I'm finished playing your video.
This is the only thing. After seeing this, I'm good.
But see, yeah, but there's some other things that I haven't got to share yet.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is, he just shared this. Cuba blocks YouTube completely, and the government restricts all internet access. See, if so, the conspiracy theory doesn't hold up. If they really didn't want you to see it, we never would have. I truly believe that. So
there's competing thought here.
That's fine.
You can have a group of assholes running the country into the ground.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have them running with no filter or no planned opposition, then you have a real issue, which is why I believe Alex Jones has such a huge following.
Why do you think Rush Limbaugh had a huge following?
He wasn't controlled opposition.
There you go. See?
He
So
wasn't.
what I'm saying is,
He wasn't. The thing is that, to me, Alex Jones, it was too suspicious. He went in 97 or 96 to a sacred ground and filmed a initiation rite into a Masonic like group.
yeah.
And they just didn't kill him and leave him to bleed there. Are you really gonna kill? Are you really joshing me here? I'm just saying.
No, I'm just saying everything isn't a conspiracy, even though a lot of
I
people
believe more and more as time goes on. It's not conspiracy theories. It's the fact that it's 6 months. You can either believe it now when I tell you, or you can believe it in 6 months when MSNBC says it.
That's how I feel about a lot of things. But like I said the other night, I feel exactly what you're saying about all this, about Trump being honest and truthful and not being owned by anyone.
I didn't say he was owned. I said he's under duress.
I know, but you said he was compromised, and that means if you're compromised for this thing, guess what? You're overall compromised, because one thing is all they need. So I don't believe that, but if you guys want to, that's fine. That's you're right. But until I see a fact that proves to me that he's compromised, I'm just not going to go there, because I don't believe that. But do I need to finish playing the rest of this?
Finish the rest of this portion here.
Here we go.
Ghislaine's father, Robert Maxwell, who is obviously a spy of the Israeli intelligence agencies, but there was something else going on here. Epstein was not some sort of whiz kid hedge fund manager. Epstein was playing a part. Epstein was a LARPer. Epstein was cast for a specific role, and he played it really well. The sweatpants and the Harvard jacket, the kind of disheveled hair, looking as if he was so smart and above the clouds that he was doing advanced mathematic equations on the back of napkins. But if you actually go into some of the videos of people that met with Epstein at the time, they said he was awfully unimpressive when it came to finance and markets and economics. And it's nothing new that if you're in the intel agencies, you want to try and get as much blackmail on powerful people as possible. Easy, not hard. And this is no longer just speculation. First of all,
we know. Thanks for all you've done, Charlie. Rest in peace. One thing that I think must be done in the wake of this tragedy is every college campus in this country should have a building that bears his name, Charlie Kirk Hall, as a way to commemorate him, everything that he fought for, everything he stood for. for free speech and debate on college campuses across this country, not just for those who are alive today, but as a way to teach students far, far into the future, kids who aren't even alive today. So when they grow up and they go to college, they can learn, they must learn what happened to Charlie, what the liberal media did, what these Democrats did, and how they tried to silence free speech, and how it only caused his message to spread farther and faster.
I definitely believe that.
I agree with that.
A great idea. And just like why I played that thing at the beginning about getting the Smith-Mundt Act renamed Charlie Kirk Act and stop the media from being able to lie and say whatever they want without repercussions. Because if you say something against someone else, they can sue you. They can put you in jail, like that woman that was across the street praying in front of a abortion clinic. Okay. Just weird shit like that, where people are allowed to get away with that, but you can't get away with it. See, the sad truth is when you do those type of things, right now we have who we want in office. You and I do, but we just had someone in office that other people like.
The midterms are coming.
I know, but what I'm saying is we like it now and we think the laws, this, that, and the other should happen. But as soon as the tables are turned and they change the laws, then we're the victims. You see what I mean? We're the ones that are going to attack. So we have to have level laws that everyone has to follow. And then it won't matter who the president is. The president will make choices and things to protect our country. But when it comes to the laws, if we have not crooked judges, not crooked lawyers, and people that care about everyone being treated equal under the law, like our forefathers wanted for us, then it won't matter who the president is, because he won't be able to hold a finger over you and say, I want anyone who speaks out against this to go to prison or be put in camps, because they won't get jabbed up when I tell them to, or they won't get an abortion when I tell them to. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want that. I want it to be fair for everyone. I don't care whether they're tall, short, skinny, fat, black, white, green. Shouldn't matter. If you break the law, you should be punished for it.
Yeah.
Period. Okay. So it's that's what I want. That's what I want to see. But here's one of the things that I wanted to share. Let me see. I'm gonna try to find it real quick. There's a couple of them. Okay, yeah, this young boy. Now, this is actually Charlie at one of his debating deals, and he has this young man that comes up. I think his name's Nathaniel. I think it's this one. Yeah, this young man comes up and asks Charlie a question. This is what Charlie was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And when you see how he interacts with all these people. And he does it over and over and over on all these college campuses, and many campuses. He was things were thrown at him. He had his hats knocked off his head. People shoved him. He said a lot of stuff. That's why he had to wear a bulletproof vest, because he gets threats.
He was under threat.
Yeah, people were always threatening him. So, but he still did it because he believed in it. He believed that he was making a difference. And what a noble life that is, to believe that in yourself and that you're doing something for the better of humanity. But here we go. I want to share this. I want you guys to hear what he tells this young man right here. My girlfriend and I have differing political beliefs. So listen to this.
My girlfriend and I have differing political beliefs. So how should we handle our relationship when we have a lot of the same values but differing political beliefs?
Do you want the truth?
Yeah.
Do not marry this girl.
Okay.
Do not marry someone that you cannot talk about the daily news with. You guys can laugh at it. Do not build a life with somebody where you cannot agree on what daily news channel to watch. I'm going to be honest. As someone who is married, when you have to instill values in a child, you cannot have the first elemental issue at 7 a.m. when you turn on the radio or a podcast to be disagreement. You got enough of that already in a home.
Yeah.
You need to have harmony. Build a life with someone where you have agreement on the macro issues. You can have disagreement on the micro issues. You need to agree on religion. You need to agree on eternity. You need to agree on political matters. You could disagree on what type of food you like. That's micro. You could disagree on bedtime, right? You could disagree on the type of cars or where you vacation. That is micro. Macro, you must be in alignment. A house divided can't stand. And so that's the point, is that there must be harmony. So I'm a big believer in macro agreement. I'm not trying to like rock your world here, but do not try to change your girlfriend or your future fiance or wife politically. Does not work.
That is good advice, what he just gave that young man. And that is why they got rid of him. The person that got rid of him because of that. Because the person that shot him, can't meet up to that. Does that make sense to you, Bruce? Are you there? Can anybody hear me?
I had to use the bathroom. I put it in a private chat, and you didn't see it.
Okay. Well, the thing is, did you hear what I was saying at all?
Yes.
Okay. So, but do you agree with that? That's why what he was just saying when he's on the campuses and he's answering these questions, and if you really listen to what he's saying and you think about it, there's really no argument. You see what I mean? It's like when you go to your dad and you say, Dad, I want to go hang out with my friends. Let's say you're 15 and your friends are going to be hanging out in this one part of town that your dad knows. There's drugs, alcohol, and prostitutes. Okay. And he knows that because he grew up there. Okay? I'm just using this example. And you say, I want to go hang out with my friends and we're going to go hang out there at this place. And your dad's going to say, no, son, I'm not letting you go. If you're going to hang out with them and you're going to hang out there, no, you can't go. Well, why not? Because it's not safe. Because he loves you and cares about you and doesn't want to see you get stabbed or shot or robbed or beaten up. He's doing it because he loves you and he cares about you. But what are you going to think? Oh, he hates me. He thinks I'm too immature. I can't do things. I can't take care of myself. See, you're going to think all the negative things because you want to go out and have some independence with your friends. That's part of growing up. That's going to happen to every single parent. I don't care what religion you are. It's going to happen because all children get to the point where they want to rebel because they want to do things for themselves. They want to take responsibility. They want to do stuff because they don't realize all of the dangers out there that an older person that's been through things understands. And when you get young people like that with I want to see hot girls. I want to see the girls saying, I want to see hot guys because they get all pitter pattery, when they see the opposite sex. That's natural too. But the thing is, when you
describe this,
you have people in those positions in that part of their life, and now they're being told anyone that does that is a Nazi. Anyone that does that is a bigot. Anyone that won't let you do this is a Nazi. Anyone that won't let you do that is a bigot, or they're a racist, or whatever it is. You put whatever words in there over and over and over again. And the kid goes and hangs out with their friends and their mom gives them cigarettes or gives you a beer. Wow, you got a cool mom. She lets you drink, she lets you smoke, she lets you stay out all night. And then you find out years later that kid never graduated from high school. That kid didn't get to go to college. That kid basically is going in and out of jail. But you got a job. You graduated from high school because you had parents that actually gave a shit about you, that wanted to keep you safe, that was trying to teach you something. So either you can make those choices as a teenager and live as an adult and not turn out as well as a kid that had parents that cared. My mom whipped my ass. She whipped my sister's asses because my dad was gone a lot. My dad worked hard and he was in the military, so they'd send him somewhere for 6 to 9 months. We wouldn't even see him. But my mother had to take up the slack and be mom and dad, and she did a damn good job, I feel, because guess what? All of us girls graduated from high school. Some of us went to college right away. Some of us waited a couple years and went to college or went to trade school, but none of us were pregnant and none of us had to get married. So what does that tell you about my parents? They gave us shit and they whipped our ass. They made us have jobs. They made us take care of ourselves, learn how to cook, how to take care of things because they cared about us and wanted us to be able to take care of ourselves. We're lacking that big time. We got kids that are graduating from high school. They can't even read and write very well. They can't get jobs because they have no stamina to stand there to be a cashier or anything. Oh, that's beneath me, because they think they're better than to be a cashier or they're better than to be a stock boy. You see what I mean? We're ingrating this into our kids. So now they and then they're realizing when they do go out and try to get a job, they can't get a job. Why? Because they don't have any skills. They have no skills. So then they start looking in the mirror and saying, everyone lied to me. No one told me the truth. Well, whose fault is that? See, we got to start putting the blame back on the parents and into our society about why we're turning out kids that hate everyone and want to kill people.
It's literally just we have the situation that Gen X has been quiet for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree? Do you agree?
Some of them, not
Okay.
all of them.
We are inheriting a world. Our grandparents.
What age you are. You can be Gen X, you can be Gen Y, you can be any group. There's going to be people in every single group that are verbal, and there's going to be people in every single group that are quiet or introverted, because they're in every single society. So to say they're all this or they're all that is wrong. That's a generalization. You should never do that.
Okay, I'm gonna broad brush some shit here.
Okay, broad brush is different. It's a different statement.
I absolutely love my parents. Okay, they're both boomers from 1951.
Yeah.
But the baby boomers were given the world on a silver platter. And instead of them making us a world that had great Art Deco inspired transit and architecture, and we thought of Ayn Rand and various other thinkers that would literally cause your critical thinking to have a 4-stage breakdown before you got through the barrier to get to understand what was she writing about. Because that shit's so dry, it takes you a journey to get to understand what the fuck is really going on with the Fountainhead here.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, the fucking baby boomers took all this shit that they were gifted by the world's greatest generations and the good times they received created the softest fucking generation on the planet. And Gen X was pretty feral about shit. We were given latchkey because our parents were the first ones that basically were like 2-parent incomes or two income families. Both parents basically just have to work, and so here's your latchkey. Good luck. You got your Capri Sun in the fridge. If you get hungry, there's an orange.
Mm-hmm.
And you've got all this stuff, but instead, our generation is really just like we're self-sustaining, and in all honesty, we do our best when we're just allowed not to have to fucking go interact. Because when you go interact, the fucking soft men ahead of us get completely fucking buttered, which is why you have so many people on the right that are absolutely like, we're ready to throw rhinos first into the fucking wood chipper because without the rhinos, we'd have a badass party.
Mhm.
We would have a wonderful fucking group of people to just completely tear apart poor ideas, poor laws, and rewrite the system. We'll go back. We'll go with the what is that? The Convention of the States. Let's rewrite
Yeah.
some stuff, right?
Convention of States.
We would, if we didn't have the fucking rhinos in our fucking way, we would do this shit. But I'm telling you what, the Gen X guys have been silent so long, and I thought in 2001 when we got forced with the Patriot Act and all the bullshit with Homeland Security, I honestly fucking felt like we were gonna like stand up and be like, wait, hold on, we don't need this much fucking surveillance on us. And for fucking 19 years, we've had them crawling up our asses. Want to know every fucking thing we're doing. What's your fucking ammo type? What's your count? What's your fucking gauge? What do you want to fucking buy? What do you want to do? Oh, wait, you're applying for a fucking a Kohl's credit card? Well, the government has to know about that. Oh, well, you want to have an HEB card? Well, the government needs to know about that too. And now we have the fucking faggots that we got all over the fucking IRS, 85,000 of them, which are coming back from the border, finished with their paperwork bullshit. And now they're going to be still in a job. We never fucking fire a government worker. I'm completely fucking against all this shit that's going on. And we're not, this is it. Charlie Kirk named it Turning Point. And this is our point. This is our position to where we can turn back and get away from the current route of destruction that we're on, the self-destruction we're on, or we're whatever. And I'm completely okay with let's get this on the road. Let's go make waves. Let's go fucking break the system. Let's go snap the neck of the financial hounds that ruin us. Let's get Big Pharma out of this shit. Because if we don't, we're going to be a fucking crony capitalist society. And you think you're miserable now, barely able to afford your fucking peanut butter Captain Crunch? Just wait until you're on store brand and they come for you. And because you gave up your gun rights, you're like basically a Canadian living in Kentucky.
Well, one way, I can give you one way that common sense tells me how to hurt the pharmaceutical companies. And that's by teaching our kids to take better care of themselves, to eat right, drink more water, exercise. And when they do that and they get the good habits of that, don't smoke, don't do things that are going to hurt yourself. And guess what? As you get older, that means you don't have to take tons of meds. You're not going to be having all these health problems because you're healthier, right? So then when you have babies of your own, when your children have children, then they teach the good habits of taking care of themselves and stuff to their kids. Over a couple generations, guess what? There's less and less pharmaceuticals being bought by you and consumed by you. So they are making less money. Unless you go stand in line and get 25 jabs. See what I'm saying? Take your life back into your hands and start living your life the way you see fit by taking vitamins or whatever it is that you decide to do to make changes for yourself. You can do it, and then you have less pharmaceuticals. My dad, he doesn't have high blood pressure. He doesn't have glaucoma. He doesn't have hardly anything wrong with him. The only health problem that I know of my dad is he got bit by a brown recluse, and he had to have that area taken out. He had to take antibiotics for that, and then he fell at work and hurt his leg. After that, he started limping a lot more, and he finally went to the doctor. And they told him he needed to do rehab to rebuild that tendon and strengthen the muscle and stuff. But he wouldn't do it. He didn't want to because he said it hurt. So he didn't want to do it. And he took a bunch of Tylenol for the pain, tore his stomach all up. Or ibuprofen, tore his stomach up. Then he had to have surgery on his stomach. And all of it was because he didn't want to do the work he needed, the rehab part of it. See? So, everybody can take what they want or not, but the sad truth is that sooner or later we're all going to need pharmaceuticals in some form. It's just that we have got to start taking more responsibility about what we put into our bodies, how we take care of ourselves, and whether or not we want to be able to walk 5 miles. If your car breaks
If I
down,
gotta walk 5 miles, I'll walk 5 miles.
yeah, but
That's all there is to it.
You can, because you're able to do that, but there's a lot of people I can tell you right now that wouldn't be able to walk 5 miles to get to a gas
There's
station.
guys I graduated high school with that are younger than me that are on crutches now, and they're only 50. They're only 48.
Mm-hmm.
There's guys that served with me, and they did 5 or 10 years, and they're broken. They're at a 70% disability rate, and they're never going to be able to not park at a fucking handicap spot. But the thing is that what we've got right now is a system that's falling apart. We've got too many people that are being allowed in, given fucking freebies, and yet I am expected to fucking pay up for every fucking thing I do, and then I got to pay for what they want to do. And that right there kind of pisses me off to the point where I'm about done with it. I'm about fucking done with you. Don't know how to get out of it yet. When I do, you'll see changes, maybe.
But we are getting out of it because Trump is getting them out of our country. He's cutting off the tit. He's taking the tit out of their mouths, but we have to help.
We
Trump
did have today at 3:00, General or Governor Abbott signed a law basically saying that we can't have Sharia law enacted in Texas, can't have Sharia only communes, can't have various things going on, but yet there's still money being dumped into Islamic sources, which is why you've got their mega mosques being built up still. And I'm going to point my fingers at that because that demographic has got a lot of money going into it, and they don't do a whole lot. They don't contribute worth the fuck.
Yeah, what's going to happen when you get another governor? You think your next governor will say it's okay to have Sharia law?
Fuck it up. He's going to fuck it up. And in any way, Abbott is only spurred to motion. You think with him being on wheels, like he'd be quick to react because he can just pivot and go? No. It takes a fucking slope for him to get moving. It pisses me off. And he really needs a shove, and it pisses me off.
Yeah. And it should. You have the right to get pissed off. It's your tax dollars that are helping pay for some of this stupid shit that's going on in your state. And that's why I say that we have to take care of our own states. How do we expect to make any changes at the higher levels in the federal government if we can't even make a few changes in our own state? And you turn around and you realize that you're surrounded with blue and you're no longer in the state that you thought you were in because you got busy working and taking care of your own home. And it just, the blue.
I can't even afford a house right now. I'm at 50. I'm at my median income is like $6,000 a month. But with various things going out, me wanting to not have to haul up fucking water to the 4th fucking flight of stairs, and I get like 20 gallons of water brought up here because our water, we can't have clean water. What the fuck happened to having your water sources be like able to be pure and clean? And like if I drink this, I don't get cancer. But yet every time I open a tap, anywhere I go in the States, like chlorine's out of the fucking stratosphere. There's other additives.
And the only way to fix that is by the people in your city and in your state voting to make changes to how your water is treated, stuff like that. But you got to have enough people to do it. If you had enough people,
getting people off their ass is going to be hard.
Right.
I need to make people fucking use this thing for good and not for fucking evil. And that's the thing. Evil is slothfulness. That's the problem that I have with Gen X. Like, are we finally going to fucking say like, hey, listen, basically our daughters were targeted this week. Our sons were targeted this week. We are targeted this week. we understand, like, if you're not part of the agenda, the message, they want you gone. We get it loud and clear.
Yeah.
Are we going to do something with this knowledge? Are we just going to sit here and be like, well, Landman season 2 starts in November, and as long as I can watch all that on my Amazon Prime or Paramount account, I guess I'm okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I'm hoping that people kind of get motivated. Like, we probably could use a little bit of America, pro fucking America. We didn't even have a resurgence like what I thought we would, because for a lot of people, there are a lot of videos you've shown tonight where Charlie Kirk was extending the token of friendship, the olive leaf, to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And some liberals were actually like, oh my God, I'm really pissed he's gone. Why did we shoot him? And probably about 40% were.
Yeah. And I still have other videos that I want to share to show.
The problem that I'm having with this is the fact that after 9/11 in 2001, 24 years ago,
yeah,
it was like the day that if you owned a Hobby Lobby or if you had a corner store, you would have all of your flags that you had, get them out there. Yesterday was a terrible attack. Put your American flags there, and you couldn't keep a flag stocked at your fucking store for months because people were out there still celebrating the fact that we were united again. We were one America.
Yeah, I have a flagpole in my front yard.
You had women in New York City.
A flagpole.
God bless those Jersey girls.
So I love having flagpoles.
You had these Jersey girls in New York City that after like 10 days or 2 weeks of everybody being like sad, they were so sad because the party was over and we're having like, oh my God, we could be under attack any moment. The Jersey girls in like late September, like September 25th, like they were out in force in downtown New York City, hooting and hollering like a bunch of woo girls on Jägermeister. And that was when you saw like America start to get like, hey, we got this. We got this. We're going to be a fucking society again. And people were going to work. They were happy as fuck. They were friendly as fuck to people. We forgot all about the bullshit between Gore and Bush. But that hasn't happened yet. That unification hasn't happened yet here. And I know that the fucking mainstream media, this fucking computer, this fucking internet bullshit is kind of helping stop that. And part of that also is a mainstream fucking agenda because, you got to paint Charlie Kirk as a white right-wing kook, as an ultra-right guy. He wasn't. Mine might be the ultra-right guy, but I look at fucking Charlie Kirk, and that was about as milquetoast as Republicans got. He's over there buying a fucking potato salad from Great Value, and he ain't adding no spice to it. He's trying to appeal to the largest audience he can. I'm over here with my fucking my rocket booster fucking 3,000 or 3 million Scoville shit. I only want this to taste good to one person. That's me. That pisses me off. We need some serious examinations. Why are we not unifying on this? And I really hope that this continues because I'm seeing some hope. We've got vigils going on nationwide. We've got a big turn to Jesus moment going on. I hope that continues. But what I'm seeing right now, I was just perusing X, and I'm fucking scared shitless because it looks like it's fucking business as usual. And they're trying to make it business as usual, which wasn't healthy for us.
Well, the thing is, you got to realize, too, if you spend a lot of time in one little area, like on X, and that's the only place
I'm not going to check Reddit because I know what's going on there.
No, what I'm saying is if you spend a lot of time there, you're going to tend to see the same things. But if you go to TikTok and Instagram and Snapchat and Rumble and Twitch and Kick, and you go to all the different things and you get samples from all of them, you're going to see different information. And that's what's important about not just sitting and looking at one area. You have to look around, go walking, go in your community, go talk to other people. Listen to what other people are saying in other areas. And then you're going to say, wow, they've even heard about it, or they even know about it, or whatever. But the thing is, if you only look in one direction, you're only going to see one thing. You're only going to see one side of something. That's why I like it when people share information, because if you hadn't shared something, I would never have seen it. Like a lot of the movies that we watch, half the movies that we've watched, I've never seen. And I finally got to see it. And the only reason is because I met you. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So when you are willing to go out and meet new people and listen to what they have to say, to see, hey, this person, they don't look anything like me. Guess what? But we sure like a lot of the same things. See, and that's the only way you're going to find out. And it's sad because we had a period there where we weren't allowed to do that. We weren't allowed to meet new people, not because they were tying you down and telling you no. They were saying, we don't think it's a good idea that anybody stands closer than 6 feet from each other, even in your own house. See, and we let them dictate how we lived our lives. And now you become socially awkward with others because you've lost the understanding of what it's like to interact with someone. We got a lot of young, awkward men that don't know how to approach girls, now, because they kind of fell out of it. If you spend a whole year or a year and a half not interacting and just watching movies or porn or whatever, how are you going to know? Oh, well, hey, babe, show me your tits. Is that how you're going to pick up a woman? You see what I mean? A lot of people don't understand because maybe they don't have a dad in the home, or maybe they don't have a mom. Maybe they only have a one-parent home. There's a lot of things that are going on all at the same time, and you have a job or a part-time job, or you're going to school on top of the awkwardness already. See what I mean? So the best thing for people to do is if you have at least one friend, talk to them. Ask them questions. Where can I go to meet more people? Just saying we can help each other, but we have to be willing to ask questions and talk to other people. Even if we've never really done that before, what's it going to hurt? The worst thing that's going to happen is say, get lost or don't talk to me. That's it. They're not going to just beat you up because you asked them a question. So until we get over the fear of not wanting to interact, nothing's going to change. It's like they said, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over and over again, thinking it's going to be different next time you do it, when it's not, because you've done it multiple times and it hasn't worked. So it's time to change something. You know what I mean? Time to do something new.
I also need to be going to bed here soon because I'm getting.
Okay.
I apologize. I'm going to get off. I have to leave. I have to sleep. I've got a big day tomorrow.
It's all right. I got to go to bed too. I didn't realize we've been doing this for over 3 hours. So I had a bunch of other good stuff, but oh well, I can't show it to you. I don't have time. I'm running out of time. There was just too much. It was.
We can continue some of this tomorrow or maybe Sunday. Sunday might be good.
We'll see. But the thing is that there was mostly stuff of other people sharing information that they've heard. And some of them were people reacting to him dying. And they were liberal, huge liberals that realized that some of the things have just gone too far now. And that they don't want to be in that. They don't want to be involved in that. They don't want to be a group of people like that. What?
And we can save when we hang this up.
They're all in the shit show chat. So
okay.
It's not like that's where I got all of it.
Okay.
It's just you've seen how much I've been putting in there. So, but I just want to say thank you to everybody for hanging out with us this evening on X, on Rumble, on YouTube. And thank you so much. Without you guys, we wouldn't have anyone hanging out with us. But I had a good time. I like learning new things. And hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend because tomorrow is Saturday. So have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.
If you wear nice clothes, people think you're showing off. If you wear simple clothes, people think you're poor. If you speak your mind, you're rude. If you stay quiet, then you're a coward. If you're successful, then you're arrogant. And if you're struggling, then you're lazy. You see, no matter what you do in life, people will always have something to say. So ignore people and their opinions. Because so long as your God is pleased with you, who cares what people think?
He knows that this is much bigger than him. This is about the American people. They have no idea what they have unleashed. He was ready to go face the cameras and come out swinging.
What will future Americans say we did in our brief time here on Earth? It will be defined by your vision, your perseverance, and your grit. Nothing will sway us, nothing will slow us, and no one will ever stop us. We are Americans. Ambition is our heritage. Greatness is our birthright. And the future belongs to us.